The main testing may be over, but the ABB FIA Formula E Championship remains at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. Welcome to the women's test, an opportunity to get the young female drivers out on the circuit in the most up-to-date Formula E machinery. It's Friday the 31st of October. Happy Halloween to everybody, and we've got 2 3-hour sessions coming up for you. One at 8 a.m. at British Summer Time, and then going over to 9 a.m. local, and then one at 2 o'clock, and that's 1 o'clock UTC as well. And we've got loads of action coming your way today. Well, I'm Joshua Birch. Alongside me in the commentary box is Josh Turner. Jack Giamana has departed from Valencia, so Jack Pickering is alongside trackside for the latest news, views and opinions, and we'll hit everybody throughout the day. The green light is on, and we are underway out there on the circuit. Bianca Bustamante, Brewer, Noda, Chadwick, Lloyd, Powell, Chambers, Garcia, Pulling, Calderon, Marty, as well, Charles, Edgar, and Djukovova out there on the circuit. This is going to be a big one. I don't know if JT can hear me at the moment. I'll say good morning to him as well. This is going to be quite the entertaining 6 hours, because we know exactly who's hot and who's not in terms of getting out there and performing on the time. Watch out for Juju Noda. Watch out for Jamie Chadwick. Watch out for Abby Pulling. It's finally good to see that we've got Chadwick and Pulling back together on the same circuit, because that's been a lot of interesting tactics to see, well, who is the quickest of the two drivers? Both champions, of course, one in Formula One Academy, one in W Series. Also throw in that Marta Garcia, who was the first ever champion in F1 Academy. There's a lot to look forward to and a lot to do. But first of all, there's been a lot of speculation and intrigue around the Formula E drivers that have come through, because everybody wants to see who is going to be the fastest, and especially surrounding Juju Noda. And we managed to catch up with her yesterday. Here's what she had to say.
Hi Juju, pleasure to meet you. So you got your women's test on Friday. How much are you looking forward to it?
Well, very much, especially working with Jagatis Racing.
Yeah. And then obviously you're working with alongside Mitch and Antonio, and you've been here all week. How important has it been to work with them and see how they operate?
Yeah, it's very, very important, because it's my first time, first outing in Formula E car. So yeah, it's very important to listen to advice from them. And yeah, they are so nice and helpful.
What's the best bit of advice that Antonio or Mitch has given you so far?
A lot, because yeah, I have to learn a lot of things, and the electronic car it's my first experience. So yeah, I have a lot of questions, ask them, and everything is important for me.
So they've been very helpful. So they've been
Yes.
perfect. So obviously you said it's your first time in Formula E. What have you learned? What have you been looking forward to? What's the biggest thing that you think you've learned so far just being here?
Well, yeah, it's very complicated for my little experience, but it's great to work with professional people. Yeah.
And then finally from me, just what would you like to achieve? Obviously when you're in the car on Friday, what do you want to achieve? What will make you happy when you leave here on Friday?
Well, I will trying to follow the team order and hopefully have some development work and giving more skill from myself.
Perfect, right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Juju Noda there as well. Very nervous, but very much looking forward to her testing action. And she's going to be heading out there onto the circuit. She's just gone third, actually, on a 1:48.682. Well, these are the track conditions at the moment, and it is quite an entertaining run, because we've got an air temperature of 18 degrees, a track temperature of 17 degrees, 72% chance of rain out there, 3 km/h wind speed, so that's always going to be a bit of a an interesting one. You can see we've got the blog working. The session is underway. It's just gone 9 a.m. here in Valencia, and that means it's time to start today's test. Everyone is out on track at the moment, apart from the DS Penske drivers of Lindsay Brewer and Jess Edgar, who are still in the pits. But the blog coming to you today from Katie Fairman at Formula E as well, so that's always going to be a lot of fun to come through. Still, the drivers are out there on the circuit. Let's see if we can get access to the weather data at the moment and show you what's happening out there, because the weather really has been very much a bizarre one at the moment as well to come into it. Let's throw over though and hear from Abby Pulling, who was in the interview a few days ago, and she was getting all set as well. Well, I can't actually find Abby Pulling's interview now. It's disappeared off my computer. That is a bit of a surprise to come through. Let's hear then as well from Alice Powell.
Hi, Alice.
Hello.
Obviously, you've done some of these women's tests before, so how important are they to you that these happen?
I think they're really important. I mean, not just for me. It's getting me. The last time I was in a race car was Harama, when this test was cancelled, the pre-season test. But I think also for the young female drivers coming up, obviously Ella Lloyd, who's my teammate this year, she's a driver for McLaren, she's racing at the front at F1 Academy. I know she's had a taste of Formula E already, but I think it's also really good for those coming up through the ranks to maybe see as Formula E as potentially an option for them in the future. Obviously with Abby Pulling as well, who I work for, who's down at Nissan. So I think it's really important, and it's also great to see so many young female fans that are getting interested in the Formula E, because obviously there's quite a few female fans that follow the likes of Abby, Ella, and they then follow them in Formula E as well.
Yeah, we're talking about a bit of progression, because obviously this is like the third women's test that Formula E have done now. So we're trying to think, what's the next step? Like, how can we get these women into race seats in a potential support series? So I was speaking to Jeff, and he was like, there is a potential that we run these cars as a support series in the future, and that could be a mixture of men and women racing and competing in them. Was that something that you think needs to happen now? Because otherwise you're just going around in circles and maybe not gaining too much?
I mean, I think I'd love to see a support race on a Formula E weekend anyway. I mean, back in the day I was on that support race with the Jaguar I-Pace E-Trophy, and I really enjoyed it, and obviously it's great for the fans to have more action out on track. And as you mentioned, if they could use these cars and then have a junior category for drivers to then come in, and let's say one had to be a female, or there's plenty of females that could maybe fill the grid as well if they wanted to do that, then again it gives them a taste and experience of racing electric machinery, using regen, racing on these certain tyres, or gives them all that experience to then progress. And I think also making sure that we try and get as many females that earn the right to be at the rookie test that takes place in the season. We obviously I've participated in that, Ella Lloyd has, Abby Pulling has taken part in it as well. So I think that's also a great step, because they're up against some of the best drivers racing in Formula 2, Formula 3, World Endurance Championship, and they can showcase their talent there as well.
Yeah, obviously you've done a lot of development work for Envision. What are you looking to sort of achieve and tomorrow, make sure that all the correlations that you've done back at the factory is working here?
Yeah, pretty much just making sure everything's all ready for the season ahead. There'll be plenty of other tests that they might want me to do out on track, plenty of energy saving, because obviously that's important for the race. So the team sort of say this is what we're going to do, and I just try my best to execute it to make sure that they're ready for the season ahead.
Thank you, Alice. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Alice Powell there as well, as we take a look at the B-roll from Dan Ticktum earlier on in the week. We just had a brief yellow flag for Jamie Chadwick, who was slow. And then Tatiana Calderon came to a full stop at turn 8. So just a couple of bits of interesting factors there. Chadwick's fastest, 1:28.186. Tatiana Calderon is in 7th. She's in Jean-Eric Verne's car. Now it goes down to 8th as Juju Noda has moved up into 4th, 1:35.909. And Jokova has gone over fastest now for Porsche, 1:27.5 exactly. Just trying to see who else is out there on the circuit. Chambers and Shaw has just come out there as well. Ella Lloyd's come back into pit lane. It's got 10 cars on the track, 4 in the pit lane as we currently stand. So there's still a lot to look forward to. coming in. Now, where is the Abby Pulling interview? I had it downloaded and it seems to have just disappeared off my computer, which is not the way you want it to go. That is really bizarre. The Abby Pulling interview has completely disappeared off my computer. Must be in somewhere I can't find, which is really annoying. Well, I'm sure we'll find that shortly as well and get that back operational. Just move that up there to see if it's in here. But yeah, as things stand then, the drivers are out on the circuit. I've managed to find the Abby Pulling interview. I am restoring it as I speak to come back into full situations as the drivers are out there on the circuit then. Okay, fantastic. That did not take long at all. So we've got the Abby Pulling interview back operational. Let's go down there and join, because Abby Pulling is the protege, you could say, of Alice Powell. And that's what she had to say on Monday when she was speaking to Judge Yamana.
So obviously, Abby, it's not your first time, obviously, driving for Nissan. How important are these women tests for you?
I mean, I really enjoy the women's test, and I think it just shows how willing Formula E is to get behind female drivers as well, and the fact that they've managed to get all the teams to agree to it as well and put all the girls in the car to gain the experience. You know, everyone's got to agree to it, and it's so nice to see that everyone is so willing and wants to see us succeed, which is really nice.
Yeah, what do you like about it? Like, obviously, everyone says the car's quite difficult to drive. You've had a couple of goes at it now. What have you found challenging? What has it been, something that you've enjoyed learning and so forth?
I mean, there's so many different systems on the car, so literally anything you can imagine you can change on the electronics and so on and so forth. So it's quite exciting having that kind of tool in your toolbox. But yeah, I think the big thing is just the power it's got with the kind of almost limited grip that it's got with the treaded tyre. It makes it quite interesting. And then obviously you add the 350 and that kind of changes it again, and you're driving different cars almost with the different modes that you're given. So it's really important to be adaptable, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things. But then also I think it's just a lot to take in and a lot to learn. But this being, I think, my third time in the car, and I've been doing a lot more on the simulator with Nissan now. It's all feeling a bit more normal to me, and yeah, I've got a good grasp for it all now.
Obviously, you work with Oliver Rowland and Norman Nato a lot. What's it like working with them, and how much have you learned just from being around them and listening to them talk and in the debriefs?
I mean, they're incredibly experienced. Of course, they've done a lot of driving. They're a little bit older than me, and have driven a few more race cars than me. So it's really nice to sit in on the debriefs and get an insight to what they're saying and what they're feeling as well. It gives us a good idea of when we jump in the car, when I jump in the car, what to expect. But of course, they've been doing 3 or 4 days around here now at Valencia, so they should have a good grasp of, you know, where the track's in, where it's not, and it's nice to get them kind of insights.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you think like the next steps could be, because obviously it's very nice that Formula E put on the women's test, but then if there's no like purpose or progression for the female racers, then like what is the point of it in a sense? So would you like to see, we were talking to Jeff earlier and it was like there's potential maybe for like a support series in the future where maybe they use the Gen 3 Evo car, and maybe that could be somewhere where you and all the others might get a chance to show your skills in an actual race rather than just running around Valencia.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've got a really, really good relationship with Nissan, so I'm doing a lot of work on the simulator with them and doing some rookie sessions with them. So not only have I done the women's test, I've also been in the official rookie test as well at Berlin, which is very exciting. And yeah, I mean, the possibility for an all-female series is exciting, but at the end of the day, I want to be racing against the guys for sure. But it's a good kind of, if that potential was to happen, it's a good way to get the experience to potentially move up further. But yeah, at the moment, I'm really happy with my role within Nissan, and yeah, hopefully keep getting more and more integrated into the team.
All right, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
So there's the Abby Pulling interview from earlier on in the day as well. 2 hours 44 to go in this one. And the first lap times on the board are looking very, very strong. So we've got Jamie Chadwick, as I said, 125.6. Jokova in a 126.798. Garcia, 127.256. Pulling on a 128.455. Marty, 131.94. Calderon on a 131.463. Powell, 131.695. Noda on a 131.862, Chambers 134.719, Lloyd 137.709, and Shaw on a 143.177. Bustamante, Brewer and Edgar yet to set lap times at the moment, but we know that they are going to take a bit more time out there on the circuit to get it all done. So we're not in too much of a worry as to see what could happen there. We're sort of very relaxed about that whole situation. Well, Bianca Bustamante is an interesting female representative driver, isn't she, in the motorsport world? And many people either agree or disagree with her stance, but you can't deny that she is improving year upon year in her championships as well. Currently, just out there on the circuit, about to set her first lap time. She's in car number 3, and she's coming into the last corner now, so we'll stay with the driver tracker until Arch comes over the line. 34.6 first sector, 39.2 second sector, so I don't think it's going to be as improved as we think it is. Over the line, and it's a 143.234, but she's beginning her powered lap time. She spoke with Jack Giamano yesterday, and this is what she had to say.
Hi Bianca, pleasure to meet you. Obviously, you've been with Cupra now for a long while. How have you enjoyed being a part of this team? And obviously, you know, it seems like the bond that you have with everyone here is quite strong.
It is very strong. I think the team and I align values really well in a lot of aspects, not just the racing bit, but I think also the family environment for them. You know, family is very important. The teams, the engineers, the mechanics, all, you know, work in unison, work hand in hand, because, you know, they're a team that's really come from ground up. You know, 3 years ago, they were absolutely nowhere, to be honest, and they've really built the team from ground up. And Dan Ticktum, obviously getting his first ever race win, the team's race win for a very long time last year. It's incredible, and obviously witnessing that for the first time is also very, you know, very special place in my heart. It has a very special place in my heart. I think, yeah, that speaks volume with how much the team works.
And obviously, how important is this women's test just for you personally? Because I know you've done a couple now, but like, how important is it that you get these opportunities?
It's important now, but even more so for the future. It encourages other championships to shed light to, you know, this very important cause that Formula E is advocating for. You know, we advocate for women's sport, but Formula E is actually making a stamp by allowing us to have these opportunities, like driving the actual race car that the men drivers will be racing in the next few months, and, you know, to be testing the same circuits in the same car, working with the same engineers in the same race team. It is such a pivotal, you know, opportunity for a lot of the young girls, like myself as a development driver. You know, being 20, I get to learn from the best of the best, essentially. So to have that opportunity is, honestly, it's priceless.
Yeah, and we were talking about progression, because obviously there's been a couple of these now, like 3, I believe. So we're thinking about next step. Like, would you like to see, like, we were talking to Jeff Dodds actually, and we were talking about support series and using these Gen 3 Evo cars as potentially there's opportunities for, you know, rookie drivers and female drivers to race alongside each other in a championship potentially. So would you like to see something like that to move this forward, so you have an opportunity to maybe show your worth and fight for race seats rather than just a women's test every year and you just do a couple of laps?
100%. I think that is the end goal for many of the teams here in Formula E. You know, like myself, being a development and reserve driver for Formula E, I was with the team 3 races last year, and I was shadowing them, learning from them, and looking at data. And I'm normally at the sim, putting in hours and laps and driving the car to really familiarize myself, because the goal is to one day be racing these cars, and that's why we're here. And I think that's, you know, a very important message to put out there. You know, it's not just a test because we need to have a test. It's a test because we want a woman in the championship to be racing, to be competing. Because I think they can be very competitive if you give them the right help and you give them the right opportunities, like moments like this, and moments like in the rookie test in Berlin, where there were 5 or 6 women drivers alongside male drivers, and putting girls in a mixed grid like that is so important because we can learn from the best.
And you said, obviously, I know you're a development driver for Cupra. So what are you going to try and achieve tomorrow? What are you looking for? What do you want to achieve so you're happy come Friday afternoon?
Definitely to close down the gap to the front runners. I think we were going to benefit a lot with the seasoned drivers testing before we do, because then we get to have live data and we get to have on boards and really compare and see where we lack and see where our weaknesses are, and get down to it. We have 6 hours of running tomorrow, morning and afternoon, so that's lots of laps where we can constantly improve session after session. So that's definitely the goal for me. I want to be as close as possible to the front runners.
Perfect. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bianca Bustamante there as well, out on the circuit. I was yesterday with Jack Giamano as well, but Jet Pickering is with us trackside this morning. Morning, Pico. Well, what a difference a day can make. 19-degree air and track temperature. How are you doing, my friend?
It's lovely at the moment. It's I've been moaning, whinging about the heat the last couple of days, so this is lovely. But now, if it can stay like this for the rest of the day, I'd be very happy.
So, what's the feeling out there as well with the women's test finally getting underway? There's been preparation for this all week. The main drivers are still here. They're giving support, and they've got a press conference later. But exactly what's the vibe down there in Valencia?
Well, it's certainly a lot kind of empty. When we were walking in this morning, there were a couple of teams like DS Penske had taken some of their gazebos down. If you were watching the show yesterday, you would have seen that when I was interviewing Tomaso Volpe, we were standing in front of a Nissan gazebo. That's realistically what they bring gazebos to, and that's where they house everything. They don't need these elaborate motorhomes like they do in Formula One. They just bring a couple of gazebos and that's the trick.
Makes sense, doesn't it, as well, considering how random the Formula E locations can tend to be in terms of where we're out there on the circuit. So, out of interest then, 14 drivers out there. Exactly who is the favourite to top the session? Because I was immediately thinking of Abby Pudding, who was quick last year.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with that. I strongly believe that Abby has got to be the favourite to top the times today. It'll be interesting to see what kind of times we do, because this is the first time that we've had the women's test here. Obviously, it made its debut last year in Jarama. Admittedly, I'd already gone home this time. Jack's gone home, so he's kind of left me to it today. But yeah, there isn't that many cars out on circuit. There's only 14 as Abby comes in front of me to the pits. But yeah, I mean that she's the F1 Academy champion from last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's got to be one of the favourites. I'm not sure if F1 Academy's wrapped yet or not, but I think there's a couple like Dorian Pan and Myberg, neither of which who are here, because I believe there's also an F1 Academy test somewhere that's happening at the same time.
Yeah, there's an Academy test in Bahrain and ahead of their final round in Las Vegas next month. So in about 3 weeks' time? Yeah, 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So Tatiana Calderon's had a little spin at turn 7, pushing the Citroen racing machine to its limits, but spin on the back straight, managed to get her car back on track and has come into the pit lane. And Chloe Chambers just gone fastest, 125.180. So the American moves up the order as well. Most of these drivers, of course, have raced in F1 Academy, W Series as well. So Marta Garcia was the first champion of F1 Academy. Jamie Chandrick, 3-time W Series champion. Abby Pulling, F1 Academy champion last year, as Pico mentioned. Tatiana Calderon has been racing around several forms of motorsport for years. Edgar the same. So actually, Jess Edgar, cousin of Johnny Edgar, in case anybody wants to know. That was an interesting little stat, very much a racing family with the Edgars. Pico, what have you got then lined up today? We've got a press conference coming up with the regular season drivers and the female drivers and the team's press conference once again. That's coming up at lunch, isn't it?
Yes, so we've got 3 press conferences today instead of the normal 2, because we've got a press conference for 3 of the normal drivers. We've got Dan Dixon, Dane Maloney, and the birthday boy Sebastian Buemi. And then we've got the women's test. We've got 5 of the drivers who are currently out there. I cannot remember them off the top of my head, but we've got 5 in that press conference. And then we've also got a team's press conference, 2 of whom we've already heard from this week, Ian James from Jaguar and Florian Modlinger from Porsche. But we also get to hear from Cyril Blaze from Citroen. And that'll be interesting to see how that's going, because obviously they're a new outfit. They're very much the same as the Maserati team was last year, but obviously they've got a brand new branding to go off with Citroen this year.
They've got a brand new livery coming in. It does look quite an entertaining one. I think it's one of the best ones of the red because it's got the tricolor. And they've sort of got a bit more metallic, haven't they? Because so it kind of does stand out a little bit more, but maybe more when you're in person, not in TV pictures.
Yes, I've really liked the look of the Citroen when I've seen it up close this week, and we're actually just above the Citroen garage here on the balcony. So yeah, we get to see them coming, and we've seen them do the pit boost and everything like that over the course of the last few days. But yeah, it's one that I'm really enjoying. But it's probably best when it's not in the gravel trap at turn 8 on multiple occasions in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing that could possibly happen, not being in there all the time to come into it. So we've had the regular season test. Who do you think are favourites going into it for this season? Mahindra generally look quick. Nissan look a little bit backed off. What, can we gain anything from testing?
Yeah, so Mahindra, they were looking extremely good during this week. I'd say Nissan also was incredible. Incredibly, when you put all the times together from testing, there were 9 thousandths covering the top 4. This is how competitive this series is. It's absolutely fascinating, and I'm fairly certain it was like 2.5 tenths covered the top 14 or something like that.
That's insane.
It is so unbelievably close, and we expected it going into this is obviously the final year of Gen 3 Evo, so everyone kind of constantly before the work starts on Gen 4. But it's as close as it's ever been. And the person who set the slowest time in the entire test was Joel Eriksson, and even he was less than a second off. I think it was only about 7-8 tenths off.
Wow. So 7 or 8 tenths off the pace, not the thing we were expecting to be off the pace there. By the way, this is coming up on the blog, but you can't read it because the picture's taking up most of the space. Chadwick is best, the rest early doors. Now Chloe Chambers has gone fastest, but this was set a minute ago. Jaguar TCS Racing Jamie Chadwick set the best lap time 1:25.660, 9 tenths quicker than the next best time. Plenty of experience in the Gen 3 Evo, having taken part in the Berlin Rookies test a few months ago, as well as last year's Women's test as well. But that is Chloe Chambers who's now gone fastest. Pico, what did you make of that Berlin Rookies test that happened? I think we covered that as well. It was a surprise to see exactly how much running everybody got back then and today. To get 6 hours out on the track it's insane. It's a brilliant opportunity for these young female drivers to show what they've got behind the wheel.
Well, yeah, it's effectively double the length of how long they had last year in Madrid. So they still get to go out. One thing that I was deliberating with some of my peers in the media centre was we're not sure how many tires that they are allowed over the course of this test, and so that's something that I might go digging to find out. But yeah, they obviously get a set amount of tires for each race weekend, and so this is a really good chance to be able to go out and do some actual testing. And actually, I know from some people who were doing the track walk last night, I wasn't because I was filming the pit walk and then my microphone broke, so I'll film it again tonight. but apparently there is loads of rubber out on the circuit. So yeah, we'll have to see if that gives them the extra. I reckon if these women can get within 2 seconds of the times that we were seeing over the course of the week, that'd be incredible.
We've got a 1:25.180, so I think that will come down over today. That is going to be incredible if we can get in close times as well. Fingers crossed we can. Chambers leading the way at the moment with that time. So, Pico, where are you going to be hanging around today then? What have you're going to go around the paddock and see what you can spy then, I guess?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get some content in, but it is very much kind of like an easier day today because there is a lot less kind of happening because it is the last day of the test. It's the women who are out on circuit, so there's not a huge amount going on. But we'll see what we can do, and a little bit later on, some of us journalists will be making our bold predictions that you'll see at the end of the season when we open them in London.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Are you going to try and grab Nick Golding on air today, or is he already left?
No, he is still here. I will have a word with him, see if he can come on for a bit. But yeah, obviously he's quite busy as well. So we'll see what his schedule's like, and yeah, if we can get him on.
So, Pico, I'll let you disappear and go patrol the paddock.
All right, thank you, Josh.
I shall see you later on, my friend.
All right.
Right, let's check in then with our fastest driver at the moment, Chloe Chambers. She was down as well earlier on with Jack Giamana.
Hi, Chloe. Pleasure to meet you. Obviously, you've done a couple of these women's tests before. How important are they to you?
Yeah, for me, it's just a really good opportunity to get more seat time in a very unique car. Of course, Formula E is kind of a whole different style of motor racing, so yeah, it's really nice to just be able to get the experience.
Yeah, and obviously you've driven with Andretti before. You're now here with Mahindra. How are you finding how different teams operate in the paddock and learning how Formula E operates kind of as a series?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just admire the professionalism of everybody. Yeah, I think it's been a really good learning for me to be able to work with 2 different teams in Formula E. I think the level of Formula E is really high, so all the teams really know what they're doing. So it's just nice to get a taste of what different teams have to offer.
In terms of progression for the women's test, because obviously we've done a couple of these now, like where would you like it to go for the future so you actually have more opportunities to potentially get a race seat? We were talking earlier about, we were talking to Jeff Dodds actually, and he was talking about potential support series and maybe female drivers can race alongside male drivers in that, so there's more opportunities. Where would you like to see this going?
Yeah, I mean, it would be really nice to see myself in a full-time race seat in the future at some point. I think Formula E is very unique in that it doesn't have any direct support series, so it's a little bit of a different way that you get into Formula E compared to some of the other series such as Formula One or IndyCar. So I think, yeah, if Formula E had its own support series, I think that would definitely be a really good opportunity for not just us women, but also other rookies who are trying to get a seat in Formula E.
Yeah, and then obviously you've driven the car a few times now. What has been the trickiest thing to overcome? What's the thing that you're learning, and what do you want to sort of achieve in tomorrow's test?
Yeah, for me, the driving style in the Formula E car is very different to any other car that I've driven. I've driven mostly open-wheel cars, but also I've done some sports car racing here and there. But the style of driving in Formula E required to be fast is very different. So I think that's the main thing, is just kind of figuring out that type of driving style with making the most out of what the tires can offer, but also making the most out of what the electric motors can offer. So I think it's just about seat time and just getting used to it, really.
Perfect. Well, best of luck for tomorrow. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Down there, trackside as well, as we come into it. That was Chloe Chambers getting into the action. We've got one more to play that was fresh, and that is Ella Lloyd's interview before we hear from the drivers and teams in the press conference from yesterday, and also Mark Preston and Tomaso Volpe's interview coming up shortly. It is Chambers on top with a 125.1. 2 cars out there on the circuit at the moment. Jess Edgar, who's managed to jump up into 9th position, 129.568. And Ella Lloyd is in 8th now, 128.634. So has got the time improving as Shaw's lost a lap time out there on the track due to track limits down at turn 1. So there is a little bit going to change there. That has to sort of swap back over. But nicely done, as it's always going to happen at the moment. So it's still in opportunities to be pushing faster and faster and faster. And you see Chloe Chambers gone the quickest. Chloe Chambers has unlocked the pace shown by her Mahindra colleagues this week with Radha Mortaz setting the best time overall. She goes top of the session with a 125.180, 30 minutes into the day. So a lot more improvements are happening. Current lap says, hey. Hello, everybody. Get in touch as well. The Nikki says, Abby, Marty, Chloe. Marty's look at Marta in there as well. Who are you supporting, looking out for today? Let us know in the comments. Good morning. Looking forward to this as well. Juju Noda in this action as well. And VRDN says, hello, guys. Good morning to all. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody out there as well. JT, good morning to you, though. Coming in. How are you doing, my friend?
Very, very tired, but it is what it is. We've got Edgar and Lloyd out on track. As I say that, Lloyd heads into the pits and Calderon heads out already on full power, according to the driver tracker, straight out of the pits on full power. We are just under 40 minutes into this session, still got 2 hours, 22 minutes and 22 seconds left. There we go. A flashback to the 2-2-2-2-2 Toulouse we had a couple of days ago. But yeah, gonna be a much slower session than we had yesterday and the previous days. Only 14 cars we have for this test from the 20 we had for the others, and yeah, just going to be a slower overall day, so more time to just do random stuff and keep you updated, I guess.
Marta, Jose, where am I going here? Getting an interview thing that's coming through. Marty's saying important steps are being taken both in Formula E and in other categories for female racers in the sport. So that is a great thing. We'll hear in the women's press conference over lunchtime, I believe it is, coming into it. Right, let's have our final interview that you'll hear, well, the final interview of the session coming through. And this comes as well from Ella Lloyd, who's currently out there on the circuit. She's running in 8th position. She's come back into the pits. She's doing a 128.634. This is what she had to say to Jack Giamana.
Hi, Ella. Obviously, nice to meet you. Obviously, the women's test, it's really important for Formula E. They've been doing it for a long time. Why is it important to you? Because you've done a couple of them now.
Yeah, so I did the first test that they did, going back last year now. So yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to, drive the Formula E car. Obviously, there's very limited opportunities out there to be able to drive different things. So it was amazing that Formula E came with the opportunity to have an all-female test, and then that led to me being able to do the rookie test also, and then come back again then for a second year in the all-female test. So I think it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to drive something different, be in a new environment, new car, being able to learn, everything about the car. There's so much going on with the cars and going on in the background, and to be able to learn as much as I can then from the team as well.
Yeah, because obviously you were with McLaren last time and you're here now at Envision. In terms of the two Formula E teams and how they operate, how useful has it been seeing that one team does it this way, another team does it this way, and so far from what you've been learning?
Yeah, each team's going to have their own, the way how they work and do things. So it was an amazing opportunity with McLaren, and then obviously to be with Envision now was just being able to adapt just with like the steering wheel and just how they explain things, and just everything around what I was used to is changed now, and it's just kind of getting my head around that and just being comfortable with it a little bit more, like how I was. But you know, it's amazing to be able to do this test again, but to be able to adapt now to a different environment, a new team, and hopefully I can put on a good performance on track tomorrow as well.
And I was talking about progression of the women's test, because we've had a lot of them now, and obviously they're brilliant, but in terms of getting the next step towards potential race seat, I was talking to Jeff Dodds about a potential male, female using the Gen 3 Evo car potentially in the future as a way for the female drivers to actually have more race experience in Formula E, so then they can maybe get the attention a bit more of the, Sylvain Filippi, for example, and putting you in the car.
Yeah, I think, the all-female test and the rookie test has been amazing opportunities to, get your first step into Formula E. And then I think it kind of just progresses then on to, just if you're in the car doing these rookie tests constantly, you're just going to keep improving. And then if there's opportunities like you've mentioned about, racing in these Gen 3 cars, maybe, in a few years' time, then, they're amazing opportunities, and hopefully they can, come through with being able to race with males and female, and then hopefully one day a female can then race in Formula E.
Yeah, in terms of obviously tomorrow, what's the biggest thing you want to achieve? What will put a big smile on your face if you think, I've learned this, I've done this? What's that one thing you think you want to achieve tomorrow?
Yeah, I think just continue developing as a driver. I think that's the key thing to kind of go into the test with, just trying to learn as much as possible from the team, and just keep developing me as a driver. Obviously I want to be fast as well, I want to be at the top, but I think the key is to be learning and to be actually developing, because if you're not doing that, then you're just hitting a brick wall. You need to be developing, so that's what I'm aiming for tomorrow, and just being able to help the team with anything that they need help with, also just doing any test items, so just giving as much feedback as I can and trying to develop myself as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you.
Ella Lloyd there as well with Jack Giamana yesterday afternoon. So, still two cars out on the track, 12 in the pit lane. Jamie Chadwick and Tatiana Calderon are out there at the moment. Ideally, JT, I'd say two of the founding members for females in motorsport at the moment, because Jamie Chadwick put everybody on the map with W Series, and Tatiana Calderon was racing in Formula 3 and Formula 2 years ago. So, nice to see them still out there on the circuit, running very close together. But Tatiana is down in 11th and Jamie's up in second position as well. Who do you think is going to set the fastest time today? Which of the female drivers do you think you're going to be really up there?
It is probably going to be someone like Jamie Chadwick or Alice Powell. These two being you say the two founding members. Yeah, you could say that for like the big progress they've been making in like the past 5 to
certainly in Europe
6 years. In Europe, definitely. And well, I thought we were gonna get past a full test without mentioning that Sky F1 reporter, but her and Catherine Legg definitely two of the founding members you could mention.
Yeah. I'm going to have to sort of mention, aren't we, as well, coming through. Definitely Catherine Legg as well. But go on, Danica, no.
Talking about that, talking about Danica, Patrick. Jensen Button, Danica's favourite person. It's his final ever race this weekend.
It is.
Or whenever it is.
Yeah.
8 hours of Bahrain.
How do you feel about that? Right, what? This weekend or next weekend? When's the 8 hours of Bahrain? You now cut to JB feeling very nervous.
Next weekend.
Next weekend, thank God for that.
8th of November.
Because this weekend it's only just NASCAR, which starts tonight. The Trucks champion will be crowned this evening. Are you and Matthew on commentary for that, or is it just a radio call?
It's definitely not radio.
Oh, are you on it?
The final 2 races were never going to be radio, and I don't know if Matthew's on it. I'll be there.
Well, you'll be there then. All right, well, JT gets to crown a champion. Tomorrow at Xfinity, though, that's you, Matthew, and Jack, isn't it, on the call?
I think so, yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun coming into that one. And then I return for the Cup. And I'm looking forward to that. We've got a big pre-show on JB Motorsports on Sunday. Big pre-show.
Which I still haven't. I've still not done my part of it yet because I've been on FE all week.
So I remade the graphics for tonight. I need to get on with that. Juju Noda apparently coming out of the pit lane has come to a stop on the start line. So unless she's doing a practice start, Juju Noda is in a bizarre situation. She has stopped on the circuit. You can see she's greyed out on the timing tower, and the number 9 car is stationary, and she's got going now. Thank God for that. Good.
Probably a practice start or some sort.
I hope a practice start. Timing tower's a little bit too glitchy on that. Pickering, I was going around the circuit and getting all the information for us as well. Okay, let's throw it back to yesterday then, because Mark Preston as well has become team principal down at Lola Yamaha Apt, and his drivers are out there at the moment with Marta Garcia running in 3rd position on a 126.651. Jack Pickering caught up with him yesterday on the show.
I'm here with Mark Preston, the new team principal of Lola Yamaha Apt.
Yes.
Congrats on the promotion.
Thank you. Yeah, back to the old ways, I suppose. Yeah. Going back to the roots at Tachida and Aguri and everything. So yeah, it's good to be back in the position, and hopefully we'll show some good progress this year.
How did it come about? Obviously, Thomas was team principal last year. What's he up to now, and for you to kind of step in this role?
As we know, the automotive world has got quite a lot of challenges. So he's obviously the CEO of Apt. So he's back at base as such, dealing with all the things that they have to deal with in the world of modified cars and other projects that Apt takes part in.
And obviously, it's a sophomore year for Lola coming into the series at the start of last year. How do you see this year going? Because obviously, last year was the development year, learning about. Well, obviously, you've had so much experience in this series, but it was new from both the Lola and Yamaha side to come into the sport.
I think it always takes time for groups of people to get to know each other. That includes obviously all the Apt guys getting to know the Lola guys, and also Yamaha. So all working together, understanding how each other work, and then working on all of the little issues that we find during the year. We're just getting better and better. We weren't as prepared as we were this year at this test, for example. We've come into this test with a lot more organisation. It's a lot about process and procedures and ways of working and models, and bringing the driver in the loop simulator up further and further in terms of capability. So every little area is developing, and we don't stop, and that just shows in sometimes the preparation. It's hard to see it from the outside maybe, but the preparation behind the scenes is a lot better, so that hopefully will play out in our lap times and then performance.
So how much preparation has gone into this season then? Because obviously the hardware's still the same, you can only do software updates for this year. But then we've got Gen 4, which is going to be huge next year. So are you focusing more on that, or have you been focusing on a little bit on this as well?
There's a group of people that are working on Gen 4 because it's testing soon. So we've kind of split our resources. So I'm more focusing on the racing this year, where Peter McCool and the others, JC Joel, concentrating on the Gen 4 car, and the same is true with Yamaha. And we've got a small test team which is also supported by the Apt engineers and mechanics and drivers, obviously. So we're trying to split our resources in a way that's sensible. Anything that we can learn this year, which will definitely have an impact in Gen 4, we're focusing on. But maybe some areas that may not get used in Gen 4, we perhaps maybe don't put as much effort into this year.
And obviously you've kept your same lineup from this year to last. Lucas had obviously that podium in Miami, which was huge. Zane didn't get the chance to get a point on the board, but how have they come into this year? And are they looking more prepared for this year?
Yeah, I think so. And as we all work together more, get to know each other, get to understand everyone's strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, Zane is, well, I can tell from the last few days that he's getting on top of a lot of the areas. We are getting on top of some of the areas in the car which were maybe not as consistent as the drivers would like, and so I think we're making good progress to bring him up with a good chance this year to score more points.
So we were at dinner last night, a little bit off topic, but someone said that you had a hand in designing the double diffuser on the Brawn in 2009.
So back in the days when HRF1 and Super Aguri were working together closely, we led the aero program with people like Ben Wood, and they were starting to work on the 2009 rules a lot earlier than everybody else, and that paid benefits. And it was a combination of a lot of people. I can't remember where the actual idea came from, but it was a group of people, including HRF1 and Honda, that came up with the concept, and that didn't show up for another, what was it, year and a half or something like that. That group of people went over to work for HRF1, so as a total group, it was quite a prepared year of aero, a long way earlier than everybody else probably perceived that was being worked on. So it was in that sort of total ecosystem.
Wow, fascinating.
Really is fascinating for Mark as well that he invented that double diffuser with a group of engineers on the team as well. JT, out of interest, what do you think Lola's chances are this year? Of course, last year they returned to motorsport for the first time since 1997 in main town media, and they are looking super duper strong now, aren't they? They're definitely up there. As Tatiana Calderon goes third on a 125.893, and Marta Garcia jumps to fourth, 126.651. Just as we talk about Lola.
Yeah, and drops down a place, does Garcia in the testing standings. But just having a quick look at Lola in day one, they were 13th and 16th, 122.6 and a 122.869. Session 4, which was day 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were 18th and 20th with a 122.611 and a 122.773. Session 5, they did improve, 122.080 and a 122.302. But what the ones we need to look at are the two screenshots I had from yesterday's results, which I haven't put in the document yet, because it's been so busy, but I've got them here in the power of my very, very large screenshot folder. And they were 122.086 and a 122.211. So they're down at the bottom of the order, but they should be okay. They have proved what they can do, have Lola, and they've got the Gracia Maloney, which should be okay.
Still going to be a lot of stronger runs coming into this one. I'm looking forward to today's session, actually.
Yep, so at the moment we've got only the 5 cars out on track. Calderon, Garcia, Colin, Marty and Noda, as
Noda's gone 9th.
Noda went 9th with a 128.479. I saw someone move up the order, couldn't work out who it was. The driver tracker saved me there. With well, Marty and Noda were together on the track and together on the timing screen, so that's not confusing at all. Pulling in towards the final chicane.
Oh, by the way,
go on.
Instagram has updated so that now when somebody sends you a message, it shows you their profile picture as well.
Does it?
Yeah, just noticed that. Sorry. As I'm getting buzzed about the track, the circuit information. So this is something new. But yeah, Marty in 8th place, 127.628. What is this thing that we come through? Basically, what is this whole? Is this brain rot? I've been googling this numbers thing, JT, and it's apparently brain rot. Can I ask what is brain rot?
Oh my god.
I'm so old now, I don't know.
We need Omi here to just laugh, to just laugh at you.
He'll be here this afternoon when it's mainly a clip show. So thank you, Omi, for putting in that work. Jamie Chadwick's fastest on the board on 28.888, 30.460, 25.353. It's a 124.784 when you go together. Why is 6 afraid of 7? 7, 8, 9. That's the original joke. That's the original joke, Omi and JT. That's the original joke. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9.
I know.
That's the original joke. Is that anything to do with it?
No.
For
it's
God's
completely
sake!
different.
Ah! I hate this new modern fangled world. Right. Tomaso Volpe yesterday caught up again live on air with Jack Pickering ahead of what is going to be a very interesting season for Nissan as they look to retain the Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship to go after that as well. This is what they had to say.
You had a great season last year, winning the Drivers' World Championship with Ollie, and just missed out on the Teams Championship. But it was a huge step in the right direction for Nissan.
Yes, for sure, it was a huge step forward in improvement and the growth of the team. However, the second half of the season was quite bad, in fact, and this was the frustrating side. We didn't even finish second in the team championship. We finished third. We really spent quite a lot of time understanding what went wrong in the second half of the season and how to address this weakness to avoid this to happen again in season 12.
So yeah, Ollie put in a stunning result. You've re-signed Norman again for this season. He didn't have the greatest of seasons last year. He was unlucky in Miami to not be able to use the attack mode and get the win. How has Norman approached this season to make sure that he can get all the same results as Ollie?
Well, he definitely had to do some work on himself, and we had to work on his side of the garage because it's never only the drivers. It's also the way you prepare and manage the race on that side of the garage. So I think he's very confident for season 12. It's the very first time in his career in Formula E that he races for the same team 2 years in a row in the same car, same package. So I think this will put him in a better position compared to last year, where there is nothing new he has to learn, only optimizing his performance. And hopefully he will be a little bit less unlucky than last year, because last year he has also been unlucky many times.
And obviously Ollie became world champion and he's running the number one this season. How important was it to Nissan to run that number one display? Look, we are the champions. We are the ones to beat.
Yeah, this is very important in motorsport. It's a symbolic thing, but I think psychologically is important for the driver and for the team. It's not just for the driver, because this team won championships in the past, but it's been a long time. And I think when Nissan acquired the team and made it a Nissan Formula E team, we were very ambitious with our plan. But of course, until you don't see this number one on the car, it's still a plan on paper. And I think it was very important to make everyone proud of what they've been able to achieve.
And Nissan were relatively close in fighting for the manufacturer's title. You came into London with an outside chance. This season, you don't have the second team. McLaren are now off the grid. Does that make it even more difficult to be able to fight the likes of the teams that have, well, Porsche have 6 cars in the fight and most of the other teams have 4?
Yeah, this is, as I said before, the frustrating part of season 11 is that at some point, if you see our season up to the race in Tokyo, it looked like we were dominating, leading the 3 rankings, team, manufacturer, and driver, obviously. And so we were on the road to win at least 2 championships. And for us as Nissan, the manufacturer championship is very important, because we are here to demonstrate our expertise on electrification and showing that as manufacturer we could win the championship. Also, thanks to the partner team, was very important for us. So it was very frustrating not to win it last year, and it's even more frustrating the moment we learned that McLaren was leaving the sport, because this put us in a position where, factually, if we are realistic, is probably not a realistic objective. The factor championship, drivers championship and team championship are our objectives this season, but the manufacturer championship, I think, is out of the reach considering the situation.
And obviously, this week it's a 5-day week for testing. Can you just tell us about how testing goes about from team principal's perspective, and what happens in the team? What sort of things are you testing?
Well, it's quite standard. We bring different ideas and different setups and different calibrations, and we just test everything. And when you see timing not being good, usually it's because ideas that we are trying don't work. So in a way, it's important to know, because we take them out of the list of things that we want to try during the season. It's not the bad news. It's just a matter of checking things. And having said that, we are not looking for the best lap time anyway. It's true that what is really important out of the test is the confidence of the drivers in driving, the driving confidence. And so to feel confident with the different setup and finding the ideal setup that they like in the car. And usually when they are confident, even if you are not really pushing for the best lap time, you automatically perform well. So if you have a good time overall, it means that you found some right solutions for the driver.
Right. Cheers, Tomaso. Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you.
Tomaso Volpe there as well, talking to Jack Pickering earlier on in the week. Less than 2 hours to go then in this one. And so far, JT, it looks quite good because Jamie Chadwick's got a 1:24.784. We've dipped below that and getting closer and closer to the times.
Yep, we are, as cars continuing to circulate. And just as we speak, we've got a full power lap about to start. Got we've got 7 cars out on track. So half of the cars that are in this session currently out on track, getting laps under their belts, and just going to continue round. We've got Chadwick, as you mentioned, below that 1:25 seconds. First lap in the 1:24 is a 1:24.784.
So times again will be continuing to come down. We've got 7 on track, 7 in the pits. Air temperature is 21 degrees. Track temperature 22. So they are swapping around ever so slightly out there. As we just take a look at our onboard actions to come into it. It's looking really good this session. I think a lot of people will be impressed. Jakova into 7th position now, 1:26.7 as well. So again, more and more continuous times are improving. So there are differential runs between everything. I think, JT, by the end of today, we will see at least a 1:23, maybe even a 1:22.5. What do you think?
We shall see. Of course, we've got the 1 hour, 55 minutes and 50 seconds now of this session, then an extra 3 hours. So we've just got under 5 hours overall in this session remaining. If you count both, of course, we've got that lunch break once again as well. Same schedule as all the other full days we've had.
Time and time again to come through. 1 hour 55 to go. As we see who's setting some sector times alight right now. We've got a 31.6 from Abby Pullen coming in. Jamie Chadwick done 29.2, so about a second off the pace of what she was running earlier on in the session. So there are still some data to be found. Okay, let's throw it back then to yesterday's press conference with the drivers out there on the circuit and see what happened.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's driver press conference. We'll be speaking with some team principals shortly after. But first, please welcome in front of us from left to right, we have Felipe Drogovic with Andretti Formula E team, Nick Cassidy now with Citroën Racing, and Mitch Evans with Jaguar TCS Racing. And Nick, I'll start with you. New surroundings for you, a fresh start with Citroen. How have you been settling in so far?
Yeah, it's good to see everyone firstly, and it's good to be back. It's been a really nice start with Citroen Racing. Yeah, it's been a busy off season. It doesn't really feel like the first test anymore. We've been together a lot, working very, very hard, and yeah, trying to get ready for the first race.
What's been the biggest thing that you've had to get used to so far?
Learning French.
And how's that going?
Oui.
Perfect. You ended last season in incredible form, 4 wins from the last 6 races to end the season second. How confident are you that you can bring that form across with all of the change and everything, including learning French, that you're having to get used to alongside that?
You know, I think looking at last season, there was definitely some strange races and a bit of fortune in there as well. But you know, I try to bring that confidence and that momentum, of course. I think it's been a big off season in terms of development, you know, together with the guys at Citroen, from where they were and what they wanted to do and things that I'd kind of learned and how to make a car around me as well. And you know, I feel like we've made good progress. It's hard to say, it's only Valencia, but seem to be kind of thereabouts. Each day kind of gets more comfortable, I would say. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the guys at the front of last year in terms of teams, look at Mahindra, Jag, etc., will be very strong. So it'll be tough.
Thank you very much, Nick. Before I move on, it's kind of a dual question for both of you. Obviously, we know you're good friends. We know you've spent an incredible amount of time together. Do you miss each other being in the same team? You still hanging out together away from the track?
I feel like we're speaking to each other more now.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
All the same, business
All
as
the
usual.
same.
Obviously, a lot of change actually around you, Mitch. You've got 2 new drivers in the team. You've got a new team principal to work with. How easy is it for you, as the kind of one constant for the last few seasons with Jaguar, to kind of put all the distraction aside to go into this final season of Gen 3?
I mean, not much changes, to be honest. I've had quite a few teammates over my stint at Jaguar, so that's normal. I guess the big change is obviously not having James around. But Ian's, his transition's been very seamless. He's been around here for a long time, so looking forward to working with him, and obviously with Antonio. So yeah, it's all been pretty easy, and as I said, seamless between both of them. Antonio's got so much experience in this category. He's jumped between teams before, so he kind of knows what to do. But obviously, the way that we operate, the DNA of our car is very different to what he's been used to. So that takes a bit of time to transition. But apart from that, it's all, at times it kind of feels like he's been there longer than what he has. So but looking forward to working with him and also Ian this year.
Great. You've been in and around the title fight for many seasons now, but it's not quite worked out for you. What are you doing differently in terms of your approach to maybe change things up to get that edge and finally get your hands on that gold?
Not a lot, to be honest. Maybe I should be changing things, but look, I've been at the front of the category for a long time, so I think I'm doing a lot of things right. But obviously, yeah, I've missed out on the big one a few times, but that can come down to circumstances, a bit of luck here and there as well. So the main thing is that you're in the fight, and then you kind of let the motorsport gods take care of the rest, I guess. But obviously last year we weren't in the fight at all. So yeah, it's a bit of a reset from last year to get ourselves back into contention. So hopefully we can do that. I think it's going to be very, very tough because there's a lot of teams that are competitive now, especially second year of the same car. Everyone's refining things. So, but yeah, approach stays the same. Just try and go as fast as possible and keep trying to improve the car. And then hopefully come London, it all looks pretty good.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Felipe, welcome to the Formula E World Championship as a full-time driver. We've seen you compete before. We've seen you at rookie tests before. What was it about this opportunity with Andretti that made you jump in with both feet?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, thank you very much. Happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a long time coming to actually enjoy the championship. Since 2023, I've been driving in the rookie test and had some contacts with some teams. Actually, I did speak with Andretti back then, but I didn't feel like it was the right time to actually pull the trigger and make a move. But I think it just kind of all came together in the right time. I had some talks already with Roger, and then the opportunity to drive in Berlin came together as well, and I did that, and it was probably what made me actually feel like, okay, this is pretty cool, I want to do that. Also because I was basically 2 years or almost 3 years without racing in a full-time championship, which is not nice in one point of view, and I just really miss that feeling, and I feel like I'm getting that feeling back again. I'm just happy to be here.
How special will it be for you after these years where you haven't been competing regularly to make your full-time debut in your home country come Sao Paulo in a few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome, to be fair. It's something that I am really looking forward to it. It's going to be actually my first time in an international racing in Brazil. And first thing I knew was actually my aunt, she bought tickets for my whole family, so they're all going to be in the grandstand. So yeah, it's going to be quite cool. They'll be there, so yeah, I'm really happy about it. I just wish it wasn't the first race, so I had a little bit more experience to actually put on a good show, but at the end of the day, it's just getting there, trying to enjoy it as much as I can. I think there'll be a lot of people cheering there, so yeah, really happy about it. To be fair, I don't have a real reason why South American guys are not really looking too much forward into Formula E, as it's a world championship, so it should be put up there with high standards championships. So I don't know. Obviously, when you grow up, there is always the dream of Formula One in any driver. I would say I think anyone who's been in this grid always had the dream to be in Formula One. I think there's a lot of things to put in consideration. When you're from South America, but anywhere apart from Europe, I would say you need to, change your whole life to go to Europe and, try to build up a career there and build a life there as well. So you get even more focused on that, and normally that focus is, I would say, Formula One. But once you get, you don't get to that level, or you don't achieve that, I think drivers start looking into championships like this. Are different than probably drivers that grew up in Europe, which is, they have more options around them all the time, and they grow up probably around more options. So that's the only reason I can think about it. But there's, I can only know a precise answer if I'm born again and try it again. But yeah, and on the F1 side, there's nothing at the moment. I'm fully focused on this. I don't know how it's going to pan out next year, if I'll be around that paddock or not. I need to wait till that championship is also finished and see if it makes sense for me or not. At the moment, to be fair, I'm fully focused on this. And just trying to enjoy this side.
Thank you very much. That's all we have time for. Thank you to our drivers. And if you stay seated, our team principals will be along shortly.
I will hear from the team principals in a few moments' time. Still no change in the timing screens at the moment, JT, but I suppose we're not going to see too much in the morning session, as the track needs to still get up to temperature. It's only 22 degrees. That's only a degree higher than the air temperature, because the wind speed's still at 3 to 7 mile per hour. Keeps moving around, but 64% humidity. That's going down at least. But yeah, just going to be, I think, a cool, calm day for the morning. And I think that we'll see the push times this afternoon.
Yeah, and that is probably what is going to happen in the end. Of course, you've got to remember that some of these drivers are driving these cars for the first time. We've got drivers who have done every single women's test and rookie test. We've got ones who have just stayed in the women's test. And then we've got ones which are brand new. So just getting used to the cars again, or for the first time. and just getting the laps in under their belt.
Yep, just 1 hour in. Jamie Chadwick is currently fastest with Jaguar TCS Racing. Mahindra's Chloe Chambers second. Marta Garcia is in third position for Lurling Yamaha App Squad. Tatiana Codron fourth for Citroen Racing. Abby Pulling holds this last spot inside the top 5. For 1 hour, 44 minutes to go. Finishing outside that, Alice Powell in 6th. And Amir Marti. Oh, and Alice Powell jumps up into 3rd place. 125.545 in the Envision Racing. 28.662 first sector. 31.520 second sector. 25.363 in the third sector. So stunning time there to jump up as well. So that puts Chadwick, Chambers, Powell, Garcia, the top 4. Calderon now 5th, Pulling 6th, Marty, Jakova, Lloyd, Noda, Bustamante, Edgar, Shaw and Brewer in the bottom of the 14 drivers out there on the circuit. Okay, let's swap back then and listen to the team's press conference from yesterday. Down in the press conference and hear from our boys Giamana and Pickering, who answered some questions.
Please welcome our team principals in front of us. From left to right, we have Frederic Bertrand from Mahindra Racing, Tomaso Volpe from Nissan Formula E, and Russell O'Hagan from Cupra Kiro. Tomaso, we will start with you. You've not got a customer team this year. It's just you going it alone. How will that change in the way you collect data and things behind the scenes?
I was hoping that this press conference had the team principal of Jaguar here, close to me, to have this exact conversation. No, of course, this we cannot deny is an handicap for the manufacturer championship. Is quite obvious, and also we think that this is bad news for the championship in general, having lost McLaren as a team. They deserve to be in the championship as an organization. They won 2 championships before, so they were all very talented engineers. But hey ho, there are other 2 championships to win, so we haven't changed our objective for the other 2 rankings.
Just on that, before Eddie translates, do you expect that there will be another customer team in future?
But we will have in Gen 4 for sure, also because looking at the manufacturers currently committed, very likely you will have at least 1 customer team per manufacturer.
Thank you. I don't think we need to talk again about the season that Oliver Rowland had last year. Norman had a more troubling, difficult season, but you've decided to stick with the same driver lineup going into this final year of Gen 3. What was your thinking behind that? Was it maybe consistency?
Well, definitely consistency was one thing, but also what we could see behind the scenes. Of course, it definitely didn't have a good season, to say the least, but we thought that it could deliver much better in the second season with the same car, same package, same team. Which is new to him in the sport. So we think that with a longer stint with the same organization, he will definitely deliver. And today he said the best time. Okay, it's only testing, but it's definitely encouraging.
Yeah, very positive. Thank you, Tomaso. Russell, congratulations on your new role. You are now the team principal of Cupra Kiro. Last season, obviously, was a season of huge landmarks. You got the first podium in Tokyo, then the first win wasn't far behind in Jakarta. What are you aiming to tick off this year?
First of all, thank you. More of the same, I suppose, is the honest answer. I think the biggest difference from last year to this year is our approach about how we build a complete championship season. I think last year we proved what the team is capable of on a good day, and really the target that I'm setting with the team now is proving what we can do on a bad day, making sure that our average performance is higher, that we're consistent in the way we approach the championship. Yeah, and really taking ourselves from that kind of one-off race contender into how we build a whole season. So a lot to do, and building on the small areas for improvement, reducing mistakes, expecting a lot from the team and the drivers.
You've retained the services of the Enigma, Dan Ticktum, but
yes,
alongside him you have a new face, Pepe Mate. Obviously coming in incredibly late, the last driver to be announced with a lot to learn. I'm just interested to get an insight into what kind of guy he's been so far while he's been working with the team, and what expectations you've set for him this season.
I think all of you that have met him so far, he's smart, articulate, funny, relaxed. Him and Dan have decided to become friends already. For those of you that saw the filming on track yesterday where they were drifting, the two of them had their radios linked, and for the last seconds was just the two of them giggling like schoolboys, really. So I think from a personality side, he's fitted in incredibly quickly with the team. The working dynamic's been really easy. We started to see yesterday morning his performance has kind of started exceeding a little bit what we were expecting for the first week. I think from memory, the early part of yesterday morning, he was in the top 3 in sort of 300 push laps. From what I've seen this morning, again, the performance was very good. So I think realistically, I think we're going to see good one-lap performance almost from the start of the season if he kind of carries on the trajectory that he's on now. I think the biggest thing is that we all understand being a rookie in Formula E is more difficult than any other series. So our message to Pepe is we'll be patient with you. That's the one thing. I think getting the drivers to be patient with themselves is probably the harder task. Obviously, they're out there and wanting to do their best. I think softly internally, we kind of expect, particularly in the way that he can read and deploy races, will probably change in Jeddah, really. Having the first double header where the driver gets to sleep on it overnight, sort of rinse and repeat. I think that's probably the first mark where we'll kind of look for the race performances to take a step forward, but I think ultimate pace, from what we've seen already, is going to be there and thereabouts from the start, which is really good.
And importantly, he's getting involved in the TikToks straight away.
Straight on the TikToks, yeah.
Thank you very much, Russell. Fred, it's your turn. I'll move on to you. A very good season for you and the team at Mahindra last year. Nick told us yesterday in the press conference that is now a benchmark for what you will achieve this season. I'm just interested to know what you're intending on achieving this season.
I think he said everything, so I have nothing to add. No.
Okay, that's the no.
No, the season is for sure very exciting because when you look at the journey, we started season 9, 10, quite challenging, to say the least, and then 11 was the first moment we discovered the car, and we didn't know where we could be with that car. So definitely a good, not surprise, but at least a good result. And building up all along the season 11, we saw that we were slowly able to deliver good racing for the two drivers, get on podiums. We still didn't get what Russell manages to get on the top of the podium, but definitely second P2, P2 we managed. So that's part of the goals for I would say season 12 is how can we make sure that we keep improving, capitalizing on what we did, make sure that we have a good understanding of what we learned and we develop a good strategy around that. We know that in Formula E, performance is one thing, but the quality of the execution is very important. And finally, you need a bit of luck on track because racing is sometimes a bit chaotic. So when you get all at the same time, then you finish where you want, but sometimes it's not exactly the case. So we need to make sure that we put everything on our side. Hearing the national anthem of India is definitely a target, and finishing again in the top 5 would be good. That was the target last year. We did a little bit better, so let's try to keep on the same trend, target top 5 and do a little bit better.
Perfect. We've seen your drivers this week setting good times and being in and around the top of the leaderboards, but how much can we read into these times with testing? Do you feel that all the teams are giving it anywhere close to 100% at the moment? Are there games going on?
I think they all sandbag. I think in general what is important here is to make sure that we are as ready as we can and that we control that what we have developed in the intermediate part of the championship was productive and good. So on our side, we feel happy with what has been done and we feel happy that it comes to reality. Now what the others are doing, I have no idea, to be honest. I just concentrate on what we are doing and make sure that we are doing things properly. What is never bad is to give maximum confidence to the drivers. We managed to keep the same lineup, managed to keep the same team around the drivers. That created a good environment for their confidence level. So let's make sure that now we give them the best car so that they can deliver the best driving, and hopefully we will see where we go.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you very much for answering our questions. And thank you very much to Eddie for translating this so beautifully. I think everyone should go and give him a pat on the back or maybe a round of applause as he translates what I've just said.
Thank you. Thank you.
The interview, I think the translator, JT, has been the best thing about this test so far. We've got these Spanish clips of that, so we might throw it back up.
No. No.
He was quite funny, wasn't he? He has been the highlight of the press conferences this year. We'll hear him actually in the first session earlier on.
Yeah. How many cars? Got 4 cars out on track 1 in the pit lane at the moment, just doing a factory start. That looked like Juju Noda, who heads out now. Only 3 cars as one heads into the pit lane. That's Calderon, Chadwick, and Noda. Your 3 cars out on track. 4 minutes away from the halfway point of this morning's session. And it's still Chadwick on a 124.540. So that seems like that has improved. That's gone down because it was a 124.8, wasn't it, last time we checked in?
It has gone down as the end of it. I cannot write and talk at the same time. That's what I've just noticed. I can't do that.
In other words, you can't multitask. Noted.
No, I can't. I'm trying. Is Megan damaged my pen? No. I'm just planning out this afternoon's running order at the same time. But I know a lot of people are watching right now, are fans of Juju Noda as well, and she's currently running out there on the circuit in 10th position. She's just left the pit lane. She's coming into turn 11 to start a lap time. She's on a 1:27.917, and yesterday Jack Giamana caught up with her.
Hi Juju, pleasure to meet you. So you got your women's test on Friday. How much are you looking forward to it?
Well, very much, especially working with Jagatis Racing.
And then obviously you're working with alongside Mitch and Antonio, and you've been here all week. How important has it been to work with them and see how they operate?
Yeah, it's very, very important because it's my first time, first outing in Formula E car. So yeah, it's very important to listen to advice from them, and yeah, they are so nice and helpful.
What's the best bit of advice that Antonio or Mitch has given you so far?
A lot, because yeah, I have to learn a lot of things, and the electronic car it's my first experience. So yeah, I have a lot of questions, ask them, and everything is important for me.
So they've been very helpful. So they've been perfect. So obviously you said it's your first time in Formula E. What have you learned? What have you been looking forward to? What's the biggest thing that you think you've learned so far just being here?
Yeah, it's very complicated for my little experience, but it's great to work with professional people. Yeah.
And then finally from me, just what would you like to achieve? Obviously when you're in the car on Friday, what do you want to achieve? What will make you happy when you leave here on Friday?
Well, I will trying to follow the team order and hopefully have some development work and giving more skill from myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Juju Noda there as well in her test debut. She is running in 10th position, which is going to be quite fantastic. Just to have a little bit of a reminder, I want to just quickly mention something that is quite historical on this day in motorsport, if we want to do that while we're waiting for time. It was on this day, 15 years ago, that we had 27 minutes of brilliance from Marc Marquez. He crashed on the sighting lap, his bike got fixed, he started from the back of the grid, and he won the race to extend the championship lead in the 125cc race at Estoril. That later became the Moto3 Championship. 15 years ago today. Just brilliance, pure brilliance on that front as well. Just want to throw that back in for some history buffs out there. So where is Juju Noda on her lap time so far? She's 1:27.917 on an overall Delta time. Jamie Chadwick still fires. Powell and Garcia just coming out onto the circuit now to change over with some times, which is going to be quite interesting. So this is an opportunity to go back and listen to the round table that the CEO, Jeff Dodds, has put in. The media had an opportunity to talk with him on Wednesday and discuss all kinds of information about what they want to see in the future of Formula E, and also about that secondary role, about whether or not we're going to see a support series, the women's series, and where we're racing. So let's go over now. The audio is a little bit quiet, so we'll turn it up to the maximum, but that's only because there was no TV recording. This has come from Jack Giamana and Jack Pickering. Let's hear it from them, from the round table.
Obviously, like back in Valencia, obviously important because obviously Formula E are based here. Obviously, from what happened last year.
Yeah.
How important is it, obviously, just to be back in Valencia and kick off the season? Obviously, last Gen 3 Evo season as well.
Yeah.
So, how important is that for Formula E just being back here?
So, it's my first time here actually. So I started 2.5 years ago, but I wasn't able to do the season 10 testing in season 9 because I had a different appointment. And then with obviously the floods last year. So it's actually my first time here. So, but I think it's a really interesting location for us because our founders are Spanish. So Spain has a very special place for us. We do have an office here at this track, as you know, which is where our logistics hub is based out of. And we're going to our first race in Spain this year. So it feels very poignant that we're back here in Valencia. I think it feels a little more poignant after all the tragedy of last year with the flooding. They've done the most remarkable job here to get the circuit and the track back to good shape. But of course, whilst we're just looking at the track, if you look beyond the track, there's still a huge amount of work and recovery that will be going on for many years to come. So yeah, it feels lovely to be back here and lovely to be supporting the province or the region of Valencia.
The tragedy was exactly 1 year ago today.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And it's gone so quickly as well, that time period. But I came and visited just after the floods, and it was absolute devastation here. It was absolutely tragic.
Let's talk about your vision, right? Because we talked last year about your vision for Formula E and where it's going. How do you think you are on that journey? Because obviously Gen 4 next season, obviously we can't discount this season in terms of the vision, in terms of Gen 3 Evo and pushing that marketing and pushing that thing ready for Gen 4. So how do you think the last year has gone in terms of elevating Formula E to a higher level?
So this man's going to earn his money now because it'll be a long answer. So yeah, I have to look at that through lots of different lenses. So if we look at how's it gone in the data, so have we grown? We're a growth business. We're a fast growth business. So on one hand, fan base has grown pretty rapidly. TV audience has grown pretty rapidly. Our media footprint has grown. Our digital views and our digital footprint has really grown quickly. So if I look back on last year, I thought it was a good year in terms of some of the numbers of growth. But we also can't discount the environment that we're trying to grow in because it's a pretty complicated environment for the auto sector right now. So I think if you look at the leadership of the manufacturers that support our championship, pretty much, with the exception of one, I think they pretty much all had a change of CEO in the last 12 months, going through very complicated time. So we've delivered growth set against the context of a very complicated environment that we're trading in. But whilst it's the last year of Gen 3 Evo, of course, everything in the background is about developing the next car because that will be shown to the world in the spring of next year, and it will be on the track, physically on the track, probably from December of next year. So we're not far off, a year away from that car being racing at the start of season 13. So very satisfied with how that car's developing. And in the end, racing's about cars and drivers. So attracting new drivers to the championship, Felipe Drogovic and people like that coming into the championship, and us putting them in a car that is an absolutely world-class car is top priority for me. So I could talk about calendar expansion, so Miami Hard Rock, first race in Madrid, second race in China. I can talk about new drivers coming. I can talk about Mr. Beast. I could talk about the Evo sessions, about loads of stuff that we've done. But in the end, making sure that we produce an absolutely amazing Gen 4 car and we continue the underlying growth is what it's all about. So I don't like to score myself. Maybe 7.5 out of 10. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
About political questions, some years ago in Europe, European Commission decided that in 2035 will be no more allowed to sell
Combustion cars.
petrol cars. Now they are discussing again about this. There are some doubts. This situation, another political question that we know, can complicate more the Formula E process for grow, or is part of the game.
I'm not sure politics is a game, but yeah. So I'm British. So in the United Kingdom, we had the regulation or the government statement was to not sell cars, internal combustion cars, beyond 2030, and that obviously got moved back to 2035. So I think what would be helpful is clarity. And clarity means having dates that don't move around or are subject to further discussion. On the other hand, I don't think it massively affects us because this year there's probably going to be between 17 and 20 million electric vehicles sold around the world. And the projections are that irrespective of the subsidies and the changes politically, the projection is that will probably be 40 million by 2030. So whatever happens and whatever changes around those dates, it looks like the growth of electric vehicles for domestic road cars anyway, will continue. In the end, from a racing point of view, the fact that we race electric is one of the things that makes us unique. On the other hand, we just race cars. So the fact that the physics of the electric vehicle means it has better low-end torque, can accelerate faster, ultimately in time will probably be able to surpass any Formula One car simply because of the physics of battery electric vehicle. I think at a point in time, people will forget that it's a battery electric vehicle and it will just be a racing car that happens to be really, really fast on the track. So clarity would be helpful, but we're not in control of it. So I tend not to worry about things I can't control. I tend to focus more on producing really fast, great racing cars. They just happen to be electric only.
And about the racing car and also the development of the electric vehicle market, I saw that now the battery market is expanding and is getting better and better and better. For example, the Gen 4 battery is very strong and the evolution is getting faster. And do you see in the near future maybe the liberalization of the battery for the team? Or not?
I think maybe two answers to that. So I think the limiting factor of racing electric vehicles is more the battery than the powertrain, of course, because a powertrain operates in excess of 97% efficiency. So it's the battery development that has to keep going. And I think the cell chemistry development in batteries, moving towards solid state batteries, is happening so rapidly now that my guess is by Gen 5, whenever that will be, could be quicker than 4 years, who knows, but by Gen 5, the likelihood is we'll be in solid state batteries or a far advanced version of the battery we have today. And that allows us to take significant weight out of the car. So that's a key factor in performance. Now, whether that means we open up battery development for the teams and the manufacturers is a different question, because one of the concerns and the reason we don't open it is because it's an incredibly expensive thing to do, is develop batteries. And what we don't want necessarily is to increase the cost massively for the teams in the championship, and also for the teams with the deepest pockets, with the most money, to get a significant advantage on the track, because we like the fact that we have such competitive racing. So it might be too soon to open it for Gen 5, but at some point in the future it might become part of the manufacturer.
The question is, the two questions. The first question is, in these 12 years of competition, what is the biggest challenge that you've been able to overcome? And secondly, with all of these advances, all of these developments being made in electric vehicles, at what point do you think much of this will be able to be transferred to the new, to just normal vehicles on the street, on the road?
So I think maybe the biggest challenge was just survival, because 12 years, starting a new motorsport from scratch, and for that to become not just a new motorsport, but a new motorsport that's a world championship and has Porsche, Jaguar, Stellantis, Nissan, Yamaha, all these massive brands and world-class drivers in just 11, 12 years. So I think and I wasn't part of that, but I think I have to chapeau to the people that fought really hard in the beginning to create something from scratch and for it to survive. And if you look back to that first generation of the car, it wasn't very fast. The battery lasted for half the race, and a lot of people wrote it off as a bit of a joke. And you look at where it is today, and it's on the verge of producing a car that's not far off a Formula One car in terms of performance, racing all over the world. So I think that's an incredible achievement. In terms of the development, a load of the current development in these cars goes directly into road cars already today. So powertrain development, so the people developing powertrains here, that powertrain learning is going directly into their production cars today, their road cars today. Software is a massive opportunity, and a lot of the efficiency software development that happens in these cars goes directly into their road cars today. And I know I tell these stories, but Jaguar tell lovely stories about transferability between their racing car and the I-Pace range of vehicles. The new Porsche Taycan has technology included within it that they develop within attack mode. So there's lots of development already finding its way there. The tyres here, developed by Hankook, is the Ion range of tyres. It's a range of tyres they use and sell for road vehicles today. So lots of that development already finds its way in. Well, so lots of questions. So one, we hope it produces more exciting racing. The racing here is pretty exciting with the Gen 3 Evo car. So we hope it produces as exciting racing, because obviously it's a much bigger car, much more powerful car. Our net zero credibility. So we under the old definition, we were net zero from day zero. The definition is changing a bit. So we have a commitment between season 5 and season 15 to reduce our underlying carbon emissions by 45%, which we're well on track to do. So even with the introduction of the Gen 4 car, and wherever we choose to race the Gen 4 car, our personal carbon emissions will be coming down, so not going the other way. The Gen 4 car itself is 100% recyclable, first time we've had that, and 20% of the car itself will be made of recycled parts. So it's a new benchmark for sustainable driving. We, of course, want to stay driving in city centres. So we want to still be around the big cities of the world. The challenge with a bigger, faster car is, in some places, that becomes more complicated. So a good example would be London. You know, the track we use in London today, for a car that's 30 centimetres longer and 600 kilowatts in the joules, it's almost impossible to race that car on that circuit. So we have to look at alternatives. Now, if we look at fixed circuits, we have to look at the right fixed circuit. So still near to a city centre, and still delivering some kind of road style layout, as opposed to just a big oval or a big circuit. So our challenge is, how do we retain our identity, because we're born as a street racing champion, as the cars get bigger and faster. But we believe we can do that, but it won't be a compromise to our commitment to sustainability. It definitely won't be. We're still committed to reduce our underlying carbon emissions.
Really anxious about Tokyo in Brisbane. Is not suitable for the Gen 4 car.
No, we think we can format that circuit to be suitable for the Gen 4 car. So we've simulated the Tokyo layout. The beauty of Tokyo is we have a bit more flexibility with that circuit layout to widen it in places and make other changes. So no, we're very confident if we choose to continue racing in Tokyo, that we can make it work beautifully for the Gen 4 car.
So Formula E is present in the key markets, let's say, that you want to be, the manufacturers want to be. So what's your vision for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
What's the markets you want to be present on, with additional races, with races for the first times, Australia, for example, Africa? What can you say us about that?
Yeah, so Tobias, the plan is that we add a race every year out to 2030. So we think the right number of races for us is about 22, something like that. We're at 16 today. So too many?
Good air miles.
Good air miles, yeah. So that's the plan. So I think the two core markets, but that's not fair. The two largest markets, if you talk to our manufacturers and our teams, consistently will come back as North America and China, because they're the biggest markets to sell to in the world. So doubling down and having multiple races in those two locations is important. We obviously have 2 races in China this year with Shanghai and Sanya. We only have 1 race in North America. So I've said it publicly, we will look at adding a second race in over the next 2 years into North America. Then if you look at Central Europe, obviously we used to race in Italy. That's obviously has a strong heartland for motor racing in Italy. So we will look at whether we can reintroduce a race into Italy. Obviously, some people might say Monaco is part of France, but not everybody who's French would agree with that. So France is another core European market we look at. India, core market. We have a very strong relationship with, obviously, Tata is the owner of Jaguar. Infosys are a primary partner of ours. Mahindra have a racing team, so we have deep connections with India. We've raced there in the past. We'd love to be in India. We don't have a race in Central Africa, and it's a massive growing population, important part of the world. So we look at Central Africa. So there are, I mean, who knows exactly where we end up, because we also get lots of people appeal to us to take races there, and sometimes they're very compelling conversations for us to take races to places. But I would expect over the next few years for you to see another race in North America, one or two new races coming into Europe, and then India, potentially Central Africa coming onto our calendar. And Australia, by the way, Australia/New Zealand, a long way away. So it's a long way away, although we do go out as far as Jakarta, Indonesia now, so we get pretty close to it. It's a long way away, but again, very passionate part of the world. And if you want to be a truly global motorsport, then in time you do have to look at taking your product around the world to show everybody.
I would like to ask you how important is for you having Spain as also as a growing fan base.
Yeah.
All this stuff that comes to Formula E when a country has more presence.
Yeah. So look, so there's no question. We can have amazing broadcast relationships in countries, do great deals, but until you take a race to the country, it's difficult to truly unlock engagement with the fan base. As I said right up front, our founders are Spanish. We have a very deep connection with Spain. We've tested here since 2019. We have an office here in Valencia. It's logical that we have a race in Spain. We're super. We also have Cupra as a manufacturer now, working with Kiro, and we have our first for a long time, Spanish driver in Pepe Marti. It feels like all the ingredients have come together. The timing's perfect to do something. And obviously you've got Formula One moving from Barcelona to Madrid, and changes happening there. So a very passionate fan base. They love their motorsport here in Spain. Early signs for us on Madrid race are very, very encouraging. So we haven't really officially opened for ticket sales yet, but we've got a lot of reserved tickets. So there's a lot of interest already. So we're excited to see what happens in Madrid. Now we've come here, I'll be very disappointed if Spain doesn't stay on our calendar for the foreseeable future.
Just for now, if we can imagine that in the future Formula E will be all races with double header.
No, the double headers are interesting. So double headers are very efficient. So if you remember, we don't rent circuits. We grew up building circuits. So if you're spending a lot of money building a circuit in the middle of a city, it's very efficient to get a double race out of it, to get a second race out of it. But it does bring some challenges. And the challenges it brings is an emotional one for the drivers and the teams, because, for example, in Monaco, they want to be the winner of Monaco. So when there's two races, there's two winners of Monaco. So it does bring some emotional changes because it's not typical for motorsport. But from a sustainability point of view, so from an emissions point of view, not travelling every race to a different location is a good thing for us. It's more value for money. But often, sometimes the second day is a bit more challenging than the first, because a lot of fans turn up for the first race and then you want to still get the fans to the second race, and that becomes a bit more complex. But I think we will continue to have some double headers, but not all double headers. No, because it's just, there are some places where it's just unnecessary to do it.
Some places where it's unnecessary to have double headers, yes, like the majority of a couple of seasons ago when we were literally double headers for the entirety of the second half of the calendar. Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, still going through as to what could go through. Omi's just replied in our group chat, JT, to that when you said, I don't know what brain rot is. I don't know what brain rot is. And he says, oh my God. It's all right, because my own girlfriend has said that she only had it ever since she started dating me, so that's good. Self-burns at 9:50 in the morning, JT. Not bad at all, is it? He's not even there.
Such fun. We've currently got 3 cars out on circuit. Air temperature still 21 degrees Celsius, but track temperature has gone up to 24 degrees Celsius. So track is improving. Powell 124.134, a new fastest lap time, 4 tenths clear of Chadwick with that old fastest lap time. But 3 cars circulating, but I'll throw over to you, JB, as we've got time for some FE bar.
We really do, and if you want to get in, you can get in on the Discord on the Formula E Zone and join the FE Bar waiting room. We'll drag you into the box because regular contributed this week. Johnny is back with us. Johnny, good morning to you. So, now it's time for the women's test out there. How are you finding it this morning? And first of all, how are you?
Hi, Josh. I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you very much. So, what are you looking for here today?
First of all, I would like to ask a question about the women's test. I've seen only 14 drivers in the women's test. I was wondering why the other 6 teams don't have a second car for a woman.
Well, the teams were only required to have 1 car available to each of their drivers, but some teams have 2 female drivers in their development program. So some of them have opted to run their second car, but only a few teams have decided not to, that being Lola, Mahindra, Nissan, and I believe that's it, if I'm not mistaken, JT. There's one more I'm missing.
No, there's Citroen, there's
Citroen as well,
Andretti,
yeah.
Andretti, and there is Cooper Kiro.
There we go. So, yeah.
Altogether 6, yeah.
There's 6 around.
It would have
red
been
cars.
Nice if it would have been a double car of full list, like a full grid. But yeah,
I would have
it
loved
depends
it.
on the
Yeah.
team, most probably. I was just wondering why it is just 14 drivers. Maybe it was for the cost cut or something, or what, I don't know.
There is also a test going on in Bahrain for F1 Academy. So not all, so like Dorian Pan can't be here as well to come into it as well. Maya Vuk can't be in. So there was a test in Bahrain. That's where Juju Noda came from, and I believe also where we've seen Marty flying. Bustamante's flown in from over there as well. So yeah, there's a couple of bits out there.
Yeah. And also another thing is, I was wondering if they're gonna have a mock race at the end of the test session, like how we had for the Formula E drivers.
Sadly
Is
not,
there
no.
any need of that? No.
No, it's just
that would have been a nice.
I would have been
a
nice, yeah,
thing
I'd
to see,
agree.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have done the commentary on that one, but it's just 2 3-hour sessions overall.
Yeah. Also, I was listening to Abby Pulling's interview yesterday regarding the women's when Jack had the interview with her. I was she was hinting at a support series for women. Is that true? Is it happening or?
Well, we've been raising up the conversations about support series for Formula E, and we were talking to Jeff Dodds and Alberto as well, and asking, well, if there is going to be a support season for Formula E, is that going to come with the Gen 3 cars? And we've sort of been flying around the possibility because it looks like it could be a good starting point when Gen 4 starts to use the Gen 3 Evo cars as a junior formula. So Jack Giamano and Jack Picker have been asking the questions to the drivers, would you like a support series and would you like it to be like Extreme E and Extreme H where there's 1 female driver, 1 male driver to sort of bring up the talent? So that's been asked to Alice and Abby. But at the moment, nothing official, but it's an idea that has been floating around the paddock, especially this weekend.
Yeah, because I think so. Formula One has F1 Academy, right, for women.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you would have had something similar to that, it would have been a better because this formula. Otherwise, this woman test looks like a gimmick. If you get me, if they're just testing the cars, that's it, and there's no a future for that after that.
There needs to be a point. Yeah.
So this test doesn't mean anything. It just becomes like a gimmick.
I'm with you.
There's no support series, So that's what I was thinking.
I hope as well that we do get a couple in the series ASAP. I mean, obviously you look at it, you think Jamie Chadwick could be running, you think Abby Pulling
Yeah.
as well. Juju Noda would be a huge swing for the championship as well. A very,
Yeah.
very popular driver. So I hope, I think, JT, if I'm not wrong, Pico and Giovanna said that we're about maybe 2-3 seasons away from having a female driver back in Formula E.
Yeah, and we would get more women coming into the motorsports arena if we have that kind of this, because I don't think so there is more seats in F1 Academy. So if we have another support series in Formula E as well, so like we will have two categories where they can show their talent and more people can come in instead of just the F1 Academy. That was
Double
my thinking.
Double the seats in two different
Double the
types of
seats,
racing.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
with you on that.
Yeah.
Who do you think would be the first female driver to get back into Formula E since Simona Di Silvestro and Catherine Legg?
Chadwick has always been good, and Abby Pulling I think so. Abby Pulling has won couple of F1 Academy championship.
Yep,
if I'm not mistaken.
she won the championship last season, yeah.
Last season, right? And the season before that,
Marta Garcia.
Okay. So she has only won one championship.
Yeah, Jamie won
Yeah,
the
but
3W series.
Yeah, I think Abby Pulling also is good. So these two are the standout performers in F1 Academy, if I'm not mistaken. And even I think so Chambers, she's also good. Chambers and
Just gone second. 2,000 off the pace of Powell, as you said that as well, Johnny. It's a 1:24.136, fastest first and second sector. So she's right behind Alice Powell.
Yeah, and even Dorian, when it comes to women, this thing I've seen Dorian Pan also having a good days in F1 Academy. I've not watched that much of F1 Academy, but whatever highlights or whatever I can see, I've seen it.
I would definitely suggest watching Vegas. That's going to be quite a championship finale.
Yeah. We need those top tier women in FE as well.
Absolutely, we do.
That would help increase the popularity among the fans.
I think
among
Dorian,
the female this at least.
Dorian Pan definitely. I think would put there. I would put at least 4 women in the Formula E immediately. I think they would be fine. I won't name names because then that's disrespectful to who's out there on the circuit. But I would put 4 out there as well.
Of course.
But so what do you think we'll see? Do you reckon the times will improve this afternoon? Because obviously we're doing 1:24.1s at the moment. That's still remarkably impressive. Do you reckon when the sun comes out over lunchtime tomorrow afternoon it'll be a bit faster?
I hope they reach at least 120 high, like a higher end of 122.8 or something like that, if they can. And this is one more thing. Like I'll be the most controversial guy right now. Like the female, they should get entire whatever the same support they get from engineers, the same way the male gets, so that they can actually show their entire this. I don't know how true it is, if I'm being the most controversial guy here saying this, but we want to see the actual pace, this thing, the full-on pace of women drivers if possible, and then we can judge where they lie compared to the male ones.
I think.
Because I think the seats should be based on merit and not on the gender.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what gender you are. If you are good at driving and you're quick, you should get the seat.
I'm with you.
In any motorsports,
I think motorsports one of the great levelers of the gender divide that people want to put into sports as well, because in motorsport it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman or transgender or anything as well.
Yeah.
You can be competitive if you can put your foot down or you pull the throttle on the accelerator on the steering wheel. No matter how fast you are, that is the question. It's the stopwatch. That's how we're all timed in motorsport. And I love it. It's the most inclusive sport on the planet, as we tick down just an hour to go in this session in the morning. But motorsport, the most inclusive sport on the planet.
Yes.
maybe
And
figure skating.
yeah, when it comes to like, because sadly, as of now, I don't think so. The women get that much of sponsorship or financial backing like the men get. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know
They don't know.
how do they pull up like getting the test this thing test sessions and the seats in F1 Academy, for example. So maybe like if we have someone who can touch even come close to like the male counterparts timings and all, and maybe they can pull some of the sponsors so that they can get the proper development they deserve.
I think hopefully we've got the drivers still here, and they
Yeah.
are still including. So lots of our grid have stayed in Valencia to advise on the women's test. A few spotted in and
Yeah.
around the garages. Mitch Evans is with the Super Formula star Juju Noda in the Jaguar garage. So Mitch Evans has stayed in. I know Pico's wandering around the paddock trying to find some of the drivers, and there is a press conference coming up later. So
Yeah.
I think at least our Formula E drivers are trying to support the females as much as possible. So I think that is a big step up. But you're right, Johnny. We need more support and more investment and more money coming in.
Yeah. Maybe we can we can ask a controversial question to them in the to the male counterparts if they this thing looking forward to see a female driver on the grid along with them. Not just a female female series. I'm talking about actual female driver competing with them on the Formula E grid, if there is one.
I'm writing that down now.
Yeah. It would be more controversial given the time right now. You have this gender wars going on,
Yeah.
but that would be a good list to see what kind of mindset like we have. Because we need to put this gender war to this, because people think that male drivers don't think high of female drivers. So we need to put that to an end.
I agree.
It should not be a gender war when it comes to male and female. It should be a merit-based criteria when it comes to having a seat.
I agree 110%, because that's one of the great things that we have here on JB Motorsports and on Formula E Zone as well, is a true all-inclusive as well. We have commentators from around the world, from many different areas of life, and there's I think an even split on broadcast now of men to women as well in the booth, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And, so many different things as well. Like it's just brilliant how much we can actually all enjoy motorsport, and that's one of the things I absolutely love about it. But looking at it, I think that's definitely a question that I'm going to send to Pico and see if that can be asked during the press conference during lunchtime in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Are you going to be around with us this afternoon, Johnny, or have you got work to go to?
No, sadly, I work on weekends. I work in the hospitality industry.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
I work on weekends. Weekends is the most busiest time for me.
I can imagine, yeah.
So, yeah. I'll be leaving for work actually in a couple of hours right now.
Oh,
so
well, I hope you get some
maybe
rest.
I'll watch another hour of the testing and then I'll leave.
Do go for it, yeah. I hope that you get some rest as well over the weekend if it sounds very busy for you, and hopefully it's hopefully you get a lot of rest. You need it.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you, Johnny, for your company this week as well. It's been wonderful having you on the FE bar.
Yeah, same here. My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Take care, my friend.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Johnny.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
So Johnny was mentioning about Abby pulling and the possibility of having a second series. Alice Powell also mentioned the same. Let's hear from both of them now.
So obviously, Abby, it's not your first time, obviously, driving for Nissan. How important are these women tests for you?
I mean, I really enjoy the women's test, and I think it just shows how willing Formula E is to get behind female drivers as well, and the fact that they've managed to get all the teams to agree to it as well, and put all the girls in the car to gain the experience. Everyone's got to agree to it, and it's so nice to see that everyone is so willing and wants to see us succeed, which is really nice.
Yeah, what do you like about it? Like, obviously, everyone says the car's quite difficult to drive. You've had a couple of goes at it now. What have you found challenging? What has it been? Something that you've enjoyed learning and so forth?
I mean, there's so many different systems on the car, so literally anything you can imagine, you can change on the electronics and so on and so forth. So it's quite exciting having that kind of tool in your toolbox. But yeah, I think the big thing is just the power it's got with the kind of almost limited grip that it's got with the treaded tyre. It makes it quite interesting. And then obviously you add the 350 and that kind of changes it again, and you're driving different cars almost with the different modes that you're given. So it's really important to be adaptable, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things. But then also I think it's just a lot to take in and a lot to learn. But this being, I think, my third time in the car, and I've been doing a lot more on the simulator with Nissan now. It's all feeling a bit more normal to me, and yeah, I've got a good grasp for it all now.
Obviously, you work with Oliver Rowland and Norman Nato a lot. What's it like working with them, and how much have you learned just from being around them and listening to them talk and in the debriefs?
I mean, they're incredibly experienced. Of course, they've done a lot of driving. They're a little bit older than me, and have driven a few more race cars than me. So it's really nice to sit in on the debriefs and get an insight to what they're saying and what they're feeling as well. It gives us a good idea of when we jump in the car, when I jump in the car, what to expect. But of course, they've been doing 3 or 4 days around here now at Valencia, so they should have a good grasp of, where the track's in, where it's not, and it's nice to get them kind of insights.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you think like the next steps could be, because obviously it's very nice that Formula E put on the women's test, but then if there's no like purpose or progression for the female racers, then like what is the point of it in a sense? So would you like to see, we were talking to Jeff earlier and it was like there's potential maybe for like a support series in the future where maybe they use the Gen 3 Evo car, and maybe that could be somewhere where you and all the others might get a chance to show your skills in an actual race rather than just running around Valencia.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've got a really, really good relationship with Nissan, so I'm doing a lot of work on the simulator with them and doing some rookie sessions with them. So not only have I done the women's test, I've also been in the official rookie test as well at Berlin, which is very exciting. And yeah, I mean, the possibility for an all-female series is exciting, but at the end of the day, I want to be racing against the guys for sure. But it's a good kind of, if that potential was to happen, it's a good way to get the experience to potentially move up further. But yeah, at the moment, I'm really happy with my role within Nissan, and yeah, hopefully keep getting more and more integrated into the team.
All right, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
And that was Abby Pulling's interview as well just a few days ago. Alice Powell also was able to have a word with Jack Giamana, and this is what she had to say, even more so about a possible support series.
Hi Alice. Obviously you've done some of these women's tests before, so how important are they to you that these happen?
I think they're really important. I mean, not just for me. It's getting me. The last time I was in a race car was Harama, when this test was cancelled, the pre-season test. But I think also for the young female drivers coming up, obviously Ella Lloyd, who's my teammate this year, she's a driver for McLaren. She's racing at the front in F1 Academy. I know she's had a taste of Formula E already, but I think it's also really good for those coming up through the ranks to maybe see as Formula E as potentially an option for them in the future. Obviously with Abby Pulling as well, who I work for, who's down at Nissan. So I think it's really important, and it's also great to see so many young female fans that are getting interested in the Formula E, because obviously there's quite a few female fans that follow the likes of Abby, Ella, and they then follow them in Formula E as well.
Yeah, we're talking about a bit of progression, because obviously this is like the third women's test that Formula E have done now. So we're trying to think, what's the next step? Like, how can we get these women into race seats in a potential support series? So I was speaking to Jeff, and he was like, there is a potential that we run these cars as a support series in the future, and that could be a mixture of men and women racing and competing in them. Was that something that you think needs to happen now? Because otherwise you're just going around in circles and maybe not gaining too much?
I mean, I think I'd love to see a support race on a Formula E weekend anyway. I mean, back in the day I was on that support race with the Jaguar I-Pace E-Trophy, and I really enjoyed it, and obviously it's great for the fans to have more action out on track. And as you mentioned, if they could use these cars and then have a junior category for drivers to then come in and let's say one had to be a female, or there's plenty of females that could maybe fill the grid as well if they wanted to do that, then again it gives them a taste and experience of racing electric machinery, using regen, racing on these certain tyres, all gives them all that experience to then progress. And I think also making sure that we try and get as many females that earn the right to be at the rookie test that takes place in the season. We obviously I've participated in that, Ella Lloyd has, Abby Pulling has taken part in it as well. So I think that's also a great step, because they're up against some of the best drivers racing in Formula 2, Formula 3, World Endurance Championship, and they can showcase their talent there as well.
Yeah, obviously you've done a lot of development work for Revision. What are you looking to sort of achieve and tomorrow make sure that all the correlations that you've done back in the factory is working here?
Yeah, pretty much just making sure everything's all ready for the season ahead. There'll be plenty of other tests that they might want me to do out on track. Plenty of energy saving, because obviously that's important for the race. So the team sort of say this is what we're going to do, and I just try my best to execute it to make sure that they're ready for the season ahead.
Thank you, Alice. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Alice Powell there talking to Jack Giamana through Valencia on day 4. We have 48 minutes to go. Alice Powell's back out on the circuit. Jamie Chadwick is in 2nd position now. Chloe Chambers in 3rd. Abby Pulling in 4th position. And Neela Marti is in 5th place out on the board. Still, though, JT, Alice Powell at the top, proving that her experience really helps at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, as you mentioned, still got 48 minutes left on the clock for the drivers to get their lap times and track time in, which they will do as we continue throughout the day. And the 3 hours we have coming up this afternoon as well from 1 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. over there in Spain. But only 5 cars out on track at the moment, but Bianca Bustamante on a full power lap heading in towards turn 12. Let's see what she can do.
Still, at the moment, it's a 124.134. Chadwick 124.302. Chambers 124.791. Pulling on a 124.926. And Marta Garcia just jumped up, as well as Bianca Bustamante. So Bianca has gone 8th. 125.266 on the board. Next over the line comes Tatiana Calderon, stays where she is. Now coming for Abby Pulling. Full power lap time coming in for her over the line. Stays 4th, 124.926.
That's starting a lap.
Ah, okay. Starting a lap time now coming through. Is that coming into the pit lane for Marta Garcia? Yes, it is, as Juju Noda comes back out onto the circuit. Well, that is good news coming through again. Okay, let's go down and have a word with Ella Lloyd. She was speaking yesterday with Jack Giamana.
Hi, Ella. Obviously, nice to meet you. Obviously, the women's test, it's really important for Formula E. They've been doing it for a long time. Why is it important to you? Because you've done a couple of them now.
Yeah, so I did the first test that they did, going back last year now. So yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to, drive the Formula E car. Obviously, there's very limited opportunities out there to be able to drive different things. So it was amazing that Formula E came with the opportunity to have an all-female test, and then that led to me being able to do the rookie test also, and then come back again then for a second year in the all-female test. So I think it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to drive something different, be in a new environment, new car, being able to learn, everything about the car. There's so much going on with the cars and going on in the background, and to be able to learn as much as I can then from the team as well.
Yeah, because obviously you were with McLaren last time and you're here now at Envision. In terms of the two Formula E teams and how they operate, how useful has it been seeing that one team does it this way, another team does it this way, and so far from what you've been learning?
Yeah, each team's going to have their own, the way how they work and do things. So it's been it was an amazing opportunity with McLaren, and then obviously to be with Envision now was just being able to adapt, just with like the steering wheel and just how they explain things, and just everything around what I was used to is changed now, and it's just kind of getting my head around that and just being comfortable with it a little bit more, like how I was. But you know, it was amazing to be able to do this test again, but to be able to adapt now to a different environment, a new team, and hopefully I can put on a good performance on track tomorrow as well.
And I was talking about progression of the women's test, because we've had a lot of them now, and obviously they're brilliant, but in terms of getting the next step towards potential race seat, I was talking to Jeff Dodds about a potential male, female using the Gen 3 Evo car potentially in the future as a way for the female drivers to actually have more race experience in Formula E, so then they can maybe get the attention a bit more of the Sylvain Filippi, for example, and putting you in the car.
Yeah, I think the all-female test and the rookie test has been amazing opportunities to get your first step into Formula E, and then I think it kind of just progresses then on to just if you're in the car doing these rookie tests constantly, you're just going to keep improving, and then if there's opportunities like you've mentioned about racing in these Gen 3 cars maybe in a few years time, then they're amazing opportunities, and hopefully they can come through with being able to race with males and female, and then hopefully one day a female can then race in Formula E.
Yeah, in terms of obviously tomorrow, what's the biggest thing you want to achieve? What will put a big smile on your face if you think, oh, I've learned this, I've done this? What was that one thing you think you want to achieve tomorrow?
Yeah, I think just continue developing as a driver. I think that's the key thing to kind of go into the test with, just trying to learn as much as possible from the team, and just keep developing me as a driver. Obviously I want to be fast as well, I want to be at the top, but I think the key is to be learning and to be actually developing, because if you're not doing that, then you're just hitting a brick wall. You need to be developing, so that's what I'm aiming for tomorrow, and just being able to help the team with anything that they need help with, also just doing any test items, so just giving as much feedback as I can and trying to develop myself as well.
Perfect, thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you.
Back with us with 42 minutes to go then as we come into it. JT has some news.
Yeah, we mentioned that Abby pulling lap just before we went to go here from Ella Lloyd, and that Abby pulling lap put her second for 124.299, 0.165 off the fastest lap of Powell, a 124.134. But JB, you also have some news.
Yeah, Tatiana Calderon has been off the track not once but twice in this session at the moment to the gravel trap. So that's not great news. That's to come through. We saw it once earlier on in the session, but apparently she has run off the circuit again. She's just crossed that line and done a 125.893 that time round as well. Okay, let's head downstairs then, and on day 3 of the test, Pico caught up with Alberto Longo.
Alberto, how was your winter? Super excited to be here on the official test. I'm really looking forward to that 6th of December. I'm going to travel into Sao Paulo for the first race. How good is it to be back here? Because obviously last year it had to be redone. We went to Madrid very last minute, and it was incredible how we got everyone over to Madrid. But this has been the home of Formula E for over 5 years now. Yeah. So how good is it to be back in Valencia? I mean, it's fantastic, obviously, to be back here. You saw the images of Valencia, and this particular area really, really damaged last year with the floodings. We have been responsible this year, with help. We have been helping the people here who lost absolutely everything from their home to their cars, to eventually even their lives as well. So definitely there is a lot to do. There is still a lot to do in this region, and Formula E has always been, as helpful as we can be. We are supporting quite a few initiatives here to make the life a little bit better of all these people who lost absolutely everything. But having said so, it's also so important that the region, the city is almost back to normality, and this is the proof of it. We are here doing the official test of a world championship in in this fantastic city that has been always so supportive to Formula E.
And looking ahead to this season, we've got a few new locations on the calendar. We're heading to Madrid for a race this year. We're going to Miami to the Hard Rock Stadium, which we did the Evo sessions. Sanya's coming back on the calendar. What can you tell us about the new locations and returning ones for next season?
Well, as you can imagine, Madrid is kind of my special thing, you know, being obviously Spanish and the two founders, Alejandro and myself, you know, for the first time that we go with a race in Spain. We did a race in Valencia back in the past, but it was without public because of the COVID. So this is going to be the first race with public in Spain. Hopefully it's going to be a big success. There is a lot of media attention for that race. The first time that we have a Spanish team, a Spanish driver, and we race in Spain. So definitely is waking up a little bit the attention of about Formula E in Spain. And so that is kind of my highlight of the season personally. Professionally, and I'm talking as a founder of Formula E. Obviously, the three new additions are massive. You know, Hard Rock Cafe. I think it's the stadium. It's a beautiful venue for Formula E. A lot more flexibility, more versatile. You say, than Homestead, definitely. And I think we can produce there way better racing that we have ever done in Miami, including when we race in the city center. Sanya is an absolute pleasure to be back. You know, it's an amazing place, but more importantly, is in the country that we really want to put a little bit of focus on, which is China. And China is the home of electrification of mobility today, and definitely our intention is to be doing more and more races there in that territory together with the US. I think those are the two focus that we want to put on in the next few years.
And obviously, being British, we've got London at the end of the year, but there are still things flying up because it's looking likely that we can't return because a few corners won't be safe enough to run in Gen 4. What can you tell us about the future of a British race? We spoke to Jeff yesterday about it, and he said it's so important to have a race in the UK.
Definitely, and he said UK. I would say it's so important to have a race in London. So definitely, there is no doubt we will be racing in London. If Excel, for whatever reason, we cannot race there, we are already in talks with different options, you know, in order to try and and replace it. It will be a pity because actually I believe that Excel is so much DNA of Formula E, you know, is exactly what we do. But unfortunately, no. Fortunately, those cars, you know, are getting faster, bigger. And definitely, it's you know, there are going to be some tracks that we're not going to be able to be racing there in the future with Gen 4. But that the only thing I can tell you is that we for sure will be racing in London in season in Gen 4, definitely.
Are you looking at potentially a stopgap in between? Like, I know that like Brand's been mentioned, Silverstone's been mentioned. Are they kind of on the cards just like as like a holding pattern? Then when we know that we can go back to London, that then we go straight there?
I mean, you know, our DNA remains exactly untouched, which is basically trying to race in the streets of the biggest cities of the world. That's our target, but sometimes it's just not doable, you know. So definitely, if being in key markets is even a bigger priority for us than the type of venue that we race at. So definitely, we have defined London as a market that we need to be in. We will race there, no matter where. Then, if eventually we have our dream come true, would be like finding a street circuit in London, you know. But if in the meantime we need to go to a permanent track, we will not hesitate to do that.
Is it London or bust, or are you looking at other UK cities as well? People have been saying potentially Manchester, Liverpool, other ones, or is London the one that you want more than anything?
I mean, we race in the biggest capitals of the world, and London is one of the biggest capital of the world, maybe the biggest one. You know, so definitely, London is a top priority for us. Doesn't mean that we are not looking into other options. No, it's true. We're looking into other options, actually, to other cities. But our preference, and this is public, so our preference is basically to be racing in London.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Alberto. I know you need to get off, so thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
35 minutes to go of this session at the moment. Not much going on. Still Chadwick now to the top of the board are 123.974. Powell, Pulling, Chambers, Calderon, Marty, Lloyd, Garcia, Bustamante, Noda, Djoukova, Edgar, Brewer, and Shaw as well at the front. I need to put my glasses on as well. The time screen's a bit further away. JT, times are coming down, which is what we expected. Could we see them being similar to what we had with the 121s?
Well, yeah, we were saying how the women's times, it'll be good to see how they compare and how close they can get down. But the next milestone in those times coming down is that first time inside a 124. Of course, that 123.974 you just mentioned. The other Jaguar TCS racing car, Juju Noda, is heading through at turn 12 on a full power lap at the moment as well. So keep an eye on the timing screen. Currently at 10th is Juju. We'll see where she goes on the timing screen. Doesn't improve there, but she'll continue her full power run as only now 4 cars out on circuit as we are nearly into the final half an hour of this first 3-hour session in the women's test.
So much more data to come this afternoon where we'll show you everything that's happened in the test so far, including the press conferences that happen over the lunch break as well. There is a lot to look forward to and a lot of entertaining action. Right, let's send it back to day 3 and the drivers' press conference as well for all the action as well. And in the centre, we start with Pascal Wehrlein as well. Let's head back downstairs.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our drivers' press conference for today. From left to right on the stage, we have Pepe Marte from Cupra Kiro, Pascal Wehrlein with Porsche Formula E team, and Taylor Barnard with DS Penske. Pascal, I'll start with you. Last season, the title was just out of your reach personally, but a great season for the team. Are those good vibes continuing into testing and into the new season?
Yeah, I think finishing third in the drivers' championship and winning the teams and manufacturer championship, you cannot say it was a bad season. So we definitely take those positives. We take that we, won every title within the last 2 years, and now it's the last season of the Gen 3 car, and let's make it everything in 1 year.
Pascal, how does it feel to come into this season, obviously knowing, as you've already alluded to there, that this is the final year of the Gen 3 era, and Porsche have been very strong in this era? You must know that you're going to be strong and in and about it. It must feel good to come into testing knowing that you will once again be competitive going into season 12.
It feels good and a bit sad in a way also because, like you said, we know that this package is able to win races, to win championships. So we are definitely looking forward to the next season. But also it's the last season of a very competitive car, and obviously we knew that probably we overall we were the car and the team to beat in this era, and it's never guaranteed that it will be the same in a new generation of cars. So but still I'm very looking forward to that as well.
You have a new teammate coming in this year, Nico Müller, who obviously knows the powertrain incredibly well. How have you been helping him, first of all, settle in to the Porsche ecosystem? And, what can you give someone advice that you've been racing against and is a great driver already? Does it seem a little strange to be giving a competitor advice, even if he is your teammate?
Depends on who it is. With Nico, it feels not strange at all, but no, jokes aside. I mean, it's great to have him in the team. He has a lot of experience, so the good thing is he has already experience with our car, with the 99X Electric, when he did the season last year with Andretti, so it's not very difficult for him to get used to the settings and everything. And he just needs to get to know his engineers and his group of people he's working with. But otherwise, I'm sure the transition will be very fast.
And you have a good relationship together?
Very good.
Thank you, Pascal. Taylor, I'll move on to you. There's been a lot of change since the end of last season. I believe you've moved into your first flat now, by now?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Excellent. So, but on the track, obviously, we're focused about what you're here to talk about. A new team that speak very highly of you. How are you settling in, first of all?
Yeah, it's been very good so far. Of course, we've done lots of work on the simulator back at the factory, but now it's the first chance we actually get to attack the track together. Yeah, working with Max as well, first time, so I think it's going well so far.
Earlier this week, we heard from Phil Charles, who speaks very highly of you, is clearly a big fan of yourself. What's your relationship with Phil, and how influential was he in you deciding to take the next step of your career with DS Penske?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I didn't really know Phil that much before my transition. We're working great together so far. Lots of work in the simulator. I think Phil likes the simulator as much as me, so that goes quite well. Yeah, obviously we've not had so much time together as of right now, but it's going good at the moment.
You ticked off an impressive array of accolades in your rookie season. There's one that you didn't quite achieve, and you know what that is. That's that first race win. How confident are you that that first race win will come this season? And how soon do you think a first race win can come realistically when you've changed teams and you're having to learn a whole new setup?
Yeah, of course. It's the one that I'm trying to get, of course. It depends on how fast I can get used to the team, how well I'm working with my engineers from the beginning. It's obviously quite a big change. I have to change powertrain, which is also very difficult. I need to get used to the steering wheel, all the systems and everything. So hopefully I can get it very soon. Yeah, I have some confidence in myself after last year, but let's see how it goes.
Thanks very much, Taylor. Pepe, first of all, welcome to the Formula E World Championship. It must be very cool for you that your first experience of the Gen 3 Evo car is here in Spain.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously in the last 5 years I've worked with a team from Valencia as well, so just south of here, like half an hour, so it feels like home. And yeah, it's very special to have my first go here.
Much like Taylor did last year, you've jumped from an F2 car straight into a Formula E car. You've had your first few sessions out here. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed straight away?
Everything. I mean, it's completely different to what everything I'm used to. You know, you have to relearn many things. In the end, you're used to like smashing down the brake pedal as hard as you can in a Formula 2, Formula 3, and then here is about being as economical or as utilizing all the systems in your advantage. So it's very different. And obviously, I didn't really have many simulator sessions before coming here, and everything's still quite new. So same as Taylor, also struggling sometimes with the wheel about what does this do, etc. But yeah, nonetheless, it's been a good experience so far, and I think especially this morning, there were some very good things obviously in the timing sheets. It doesn't look like it, but I'm feeling more and more comfortable.
You were the final driver to be confirmed for this year's championship, which obviously throws you in at the deep end a little bit. How much of that decision was based on maybe seeing what Taylor managed to do last year, making that big jump, and also with Gen 4 on the horizon as well?
Yeah, obviously Gen 4 and a race in Madrid as well, which is something I'm very excited for, was a big implication on it. But then again, it's a competition, and it also was a step for me to become a professional racing driver in the end in Formula 2. It's a Formula 2, not Formula 1, so it's not a professional championship. Whereas here, this is a world championship, and obviously we've got drivers like Pascal who are very proven successful drivers, and yeah, some of the best in the world. So it's also good for me to learn and to keep improving.
A question for Pepe: how was your first experience in a kind of race yesterday?
Well, not great. I had a bit of an incident. Was slightly adjacent to myself, but then again, yeah, it was quite interesting. Obviously, there's a massive concertina effect, which I'm not used to in the slow corners, and all of that is completely new to me. So it was very interesting to be a part of one. Obviously, in Sao Paulo, I think I'll get a probably more real, fierce experience of what the racing is like. But yeah, it feels quite interesting. I think obviously, if you're at the front of the pack, it's like in any racing series, if you're at the front, you obviously have a bit more control. So hopefully we can start somewhere in a decent position, and then that obviously gets you out of many trouble.
Thank you very much. One more question from anyone?
The question is if you have noticed the difference in the tires between your session yesterday and the session today.
No.
No.
If he says no, then I also say no.
I say yes. For me, it was a big one.
Thank you very much. That wraps up our driver press conference.
Firstly, how are you?
Yeah, how are you?
How was your off season?
You don't really have an off season in Formula E. So all the stuff when we're racing, the things we don't have time to go and do, well, they all happen in the off season. So it's not really an off season, but yeah, itching to get ready for this one. So feels like this is the official first day of the start of the new season for me.
Fantastic. And have you been up and down? What have you found?
So I arrived at midnight last night. Wow. So I haven't had a lot of time. I've been into a few garages in some of the teams. There's a bit of nervous energy down there. They begin to kind of find their place on the track. So no, I've caught up with a few people there. I'm here right the way through to the end of Friday, so I've got a whole week to catch up with.
Fantastic. And obviously being back here, like obviously
Amazing, yeah.
everything that happened last year, and
Yeah.
it was incredible to move everything over to Madrid so quickly.
Yeah.
But how good is it to be back? Because this is obviously the home of Formula E now.
Yeah.
We moved back here a few years ago.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's
2019.
fantastic.
Well, look, so the first thing I would say is, if I'm really honest, it's the first time I've ever been here. Because I started in season 9, and I wasn't at testing for season 10, and then obviously Harama last year, where we had to move it. It was my first time here. So, but getting the reaction of everybody else, it's wonderful to see it. So, no, I mean, we've been coming here a long time. We have an office here actually, and we have storage here so it's kind of our spiritual home in Spain. Spain's becoming even more important for us, not just the people who founded Formula E from Spain, but obviously we have our first race ever in Spain, in Madrid. So Spain's an important part of our DNA. So it feels good. And what an amazing job. I mean, I can't believe in the photos and the pictures I saw last year, the incredible job they've done bringing this back to life. But if you look at the city, obviously they've got many years of recovery still ahead of them. So continuing to support that is really important for us.
And yeah, Madrid, obviously one of the new races for next year. How much are you looking forward to the new venues we got?
Super excited. Well, so it's not just, so obviously we stay in Miami, but we go to the Hard Rock Circuit, so MIA. So I'm really excited about that. We've got some special entertainment we're planning for that, so I won't give away too much, but excited for that. Back in Sanya, so doubling down on China, obviously the world's largest EV market, so that's really important for us. And then first ever race in Madrid, and they had the press conference in Madrid last week, Governor of Madrid, and actually we have a really high number of ticket sales already through from Madrid, and we haven't really officially launched it yet. So things are bode really well for our first Spanish race. Yeah, excited.
One of the races that isn't going to be on the calendar from this year to next year is Indonesia, in Jakarta.
Yeah.
Is that a market that you're looking to go back to? Because we've seen the amount of people that come out to the races. They even rocked up on the Friday a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah. So is that one that you're just trying to move to a different venue for the Gen 4 potentially?
Yeah. So well, maybe not even move venues. So the simple answer is yes, we definitely want to be there. So we love racing there. It's a massive market. It's a big EV market. And we get a huge following there. So incredible TV viewership comes out of Indonesia for us, and we've got a lot of fans based out there. And you're quite right, having been there, you've been there and seen it.
I was there 22.
Yeah, so you get an enormous number of people come out to watch it, and they're very passionate motorsport fans. They obviously have a rich history there with MotoGP as well, so they've got lots of motorsport passion there. So we definitely want to be there. We couldn't quite get everything done in time for the announcement for the calendar for season 12. What that gives us is just a bit more time now to work through and get to the right answer, hopefully, for Gen 4. So, no, we definitely want to be there. I'm optimistic we'll be there. We've just got to work through it now and get it sorted.
And with Gen 4, because obviously that is coming, we'll see this here next year. Will be the first proper look at seeing all the cars on
Well,
Gen
you might
4.
see it before that, you don't know.
But yeah, this will be the first time that they've run in anger.
Yeah, it's right. The first time it will kind of shake out, and we'll see who's... Because we're in the last year of Gen 3 now, so whilst they've been doing some good work in the off-season, I don't think there'll be a few surprises. There always is over the next few days, but broadly we're at the end of a generation, so people kind of know where they are. Nobody has any idea where people are in the development of the Gen 4 cars, so I think really exciting next year we'll be seeing the Gen cars testing out for the first time against each other in a competitive environment, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some surprises.
Yeah, and there's huge anticipation around it. When do you think is there a date that's set in stone that we don't know yet, or
we say we don't know? You don't, I know.
Yeah. Well, you know. But when can you give us a rough time of when? We'll see it?
So a logical. So in terms of beginning to see a bit more of what the car might look like, in a very curated way, you'll probably see that over the coming weeks and months. And then the first time you'll see a car most likely on track for demonstration purposes officially will be, I would think, around Easter time of next year. And then obviously the cars are out testing from then onwards. You know, their own manufacturing teams testing will happen from then onwards, right the way through to this kind of time next year when you'll see the official test. So you won't have to wait long to see what a car might look like. But seeing it on track, you might have to wait a few more months.
One of the things we've had to, we're producing, we're doing live streams of every single session, so and then so that people get to hear about everything that's happening. One of the things that we've heard from quite a lot of the people in the chat is we'd like to see a support series at some point. Is that something that's kind of on the radar for FE? Maybe not Gen 4, but certainly in the future.
Yeah, but there are flavors of support series. So there's a support series which is a single make support series. So you know that. And I'm, by the way, don't read into any of this. I'm just speculating. So there could be a Porsche support series or a Jaguar we've had in the past, or Cupra, or Mahindra. So there's a single make support series. And then is there an opportunity to do a FE2 in the way that you get F2 against Formula One, or F4, F3, and F2? Is there an opportunity to do that? We've always said the first chance to do that realistically is after you launch Gen 4. Because then you have another car available to do a support series with, which is a Gen 3 Evo car, which is a great car, by the way, an absolutely great car. So that's the first logical point to do it. We don't have anything to announce at this stage, but there's definitely work going on to understand what that could look like.
Awesome. Josh, have you got anything that you want to throw in?
Throw something controversial, Josh.
So controversial. Jeff, it's Josh Birch up here in the comms box. Nice to see you as well. Hope you had a good winter. Question to you. Are we staying in London, or are we going to go to Brands Hatch or Silverstone? Because many people say they don't want Silverstone, but they wouldn't be minding Brands Hatch.
By the way, what have you seen so far? What livery do you like best?
I really like the Citroen.
It's cool, really good. It's cool.
Josh has asked about the future of London.
Yeah.
Obviously, it runs out at the end of this year.
Yep.
It's expected that we can't stay in there. So, what are the options that are on the table? Is there anything that you can say? About a race in the UK?
Well, so first of all, definitely plan to race in the UK. You know, our head office is there. Our primary investor, lead investor is based there. Their head office is there. So we'll be in the UK. London, the current contract comes to an end at the end of Gen 4. We extended it out to the end of Gen 3. We extended it out to the end of Gen 3.
There's no scoop. It's going to be. It's going to 4 more years, guys. 4 more years.
I think I love it, the venue. I think it's a super cool venue. It's completely unique for motorsport. Every year we take people there, and every year people tell me they're blown away by seeing that indoor-outdoor race and the way it's constructed. We've always known it's going to be very difficult to run the Gen 4 car there. I forget exactly which turns they are, but is it 3 and 4? You've got a couple
I think it's 3 and 4.
You've got a couple of really, really tight turns there that are even difficult now for the Gen 3 car. Let alone when you've got a 600 kilowatt car, which is bigger in stature, going much faster through those areas, it doesn't work in the way that it's constructed today. So we would either have to materially turn the power down on the cars, but what we can't do is materially shrink the cars, right? Can't make them physically smaller. So I think it's unlikely that we'll be able to continue with London. Not 100% impossible, but very unlikely. And then we're looking at other potential street circuits in the UK that we could look at. And then we're also looking at other venues, fixed venues. And, I think I'm not telling any tales when I talk about, historically, Brands Hatch, Silverstone have been mentioned in dispatches, and there's an obvious reason for that. They're the two most famous circuits in the UK. So we're talking to the circuits in the UK. We're also exploring other street races, but we will be in the UK.
It's something like Brands or Silverstone, like you could utilize that for season 13 just as like a stopgap, and then potentially move back to London or a Manchester or a Birmingham.
Yeah, you absolutely could do. I mean, I would like to find our UK home for the start of Gen 4 and stay there, because the investment you make in a location that isn't going to be a long-term location is a little bit wasted, because you're trying to attract a new fan base. You have to build infrastructure, change circuit layout, you do all of that stuff and then don't go back there. Doesn't feel like a very good investment. So at the moment we're focused on knowing where we're going to race in the UK and being in the right place from the beginning of Gen 4.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
See you.
Cheers, Jeff. See you later.
We are closing in on the end of today's morning session as we are getting good, because JT, you've got more news about what's happening at the front.
Yeah, we had a new time for second place. That was pulling on a 1:23.866. Only 3 cars are going to be out on track at the time of the checkered flag. That's Jamie Chadwick, Bianca Bustamante, and Ella Lloyd. Bustamante and Lloyd on full power, Chadwick just on the regular power. But the checkered flag is now officially out, and we shall get ready for the cars to head across the checkered flag. It'll be Jamie Chadwick, then it'll be Bianca, and then Ella Lloyd in that order on the driver tracker.
So, end of the session. You are allowed to do practice starts, but they are deciding not to do that this afternoon. It will be Chambers on a 1:23.584, pulling 1:23.866. Jamie Chadwick third, 1:23.974. We'll just wait to see if Ella Lloyd or Bianca Bustamante improve on the times, because Ella has got the fastest first sector of a personal best, so we'll wait to confirm how they stand as over the line into the pit lane has come Bianca Bustamante. Will Ella Lloyd go faster over the board? Stays fifth as well. So it's Alice Powell in fourth, 1:24.134. Ella Lloyd fifth, 1:24.188. Bianca Bustamante in sixth, 1:24.481. Tatiana Calderon in seventh, 1:24.501. Nuria Marti in 8th on a 1:25.008. Marta Garcia in 9th, 1:25.222. Juju Noda in 10th, 1:25.750. Jilkova in 11th, 1:26.079. Edgar 12th, 1:27.799. Brewer 13th, 1:31.165. And Shaw 14th, 1:31.796. JT, what did you make of that morning session?
Well, it was, let's be honest, quite a slow session. There's not much happening, of course. 6 less drivers than what we had in the main 4 days of running, but they got the laps in that they needed to get. They got the timing, and they'll be able to get another 3 hours of running this afternoon from 1 p.m. GMT and 2 p.m. your time.
You can join us for all that action, where we'll go through Boemi, the press conference from Tuesday, Jeff Dodds, Alberto Longo, the Wednesday press conference, Jeff Dodds roundtable, an interview from Abby Pulling, Bianca Bustamante, Chloe Chambers, Ella Lloyd, Juju Noda, Alice Powell, the Thursday press conference, Mark Preston, Tomaso Volpe, and the Friday press conferences. That's all coming up in this afternoon session. You need to join us for that. My thanks to JT and to Jack Pickering and to Johnny from the FE Bar joining us. We'll be back for the final session of pre-season testing in 2 hours' time. Take care. See you then. Bye-bye.